All right. We are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. I see we have haters on all sides. Today's going to be somewhat of a different stream. If this is your first time watching one of my streams, it's not going to be one of the usual streams that we usually have. So I encourage you to check out some of my other streams so you can kind of get more of the gist of what I usually talk about. Today we have to address a couple of different issues that are going on in regards to me, my channel. People saying certain things about me, trying to expose me or whatever it might be. This is what I call growing pains. But today we're going to address some of the direct, uh, I guess you could say, accusations against me, for lack of a better term, right? 21 people already in the building. In the latter portion of this live stream, we're going to be talking about the Kevin Samuels defense force, I guess you can say, and we'll be addressing them. And some of the comments, the hate comments that I've gotten, we'll kind of address those as well a little bit later. So if you don't want to hear a little bit about me and my history, then fast forward, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes or so. This might seem really boring. All right, this might seem really boring. But for those who are in question of who I am and whether or not I am and as I'll pull this comment up as I say this really quickly, a wolf in sheep's clothing, then stick around. I'm going to explain as much as I can in regards to who I am, and I'll let you be the judge for yourself. All right. Welcome to everybody here. Don't gaslight me, says she unsubbed. Hate to see you go. Hate to see you go. Asia Azalea is curious. 32 people already in the building. Expose the Manosphere in the building. Says this would be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. Apparently, I'm muted from dead emoji face. Nav with the energy. I appreciate you. I want to give a huge shout out to all of the channel contributors and the channel sponsors and all the channel members. Specifically, a couple of people who are always supportive. Trisha, Beijik, y'all have kept this channel going. Organic Black. If I'm forgetting your name, Lemonade, forgive me. Let's get right into it. Coriander Yander recently made a video about me stating that I am a wolf in sheep's clothing, that I am a panderer, that I essentially, what I'm saying I don't believe, and that I'm just trying to make a quick dollar off of the lane of the sphere that I occupy right now. All right. She essentially is saying that I used to call black women heifers. I used to despise black women. I used to uh, say horrible things about black women. And so I watched her video on me in regards to her trying to come onto the panel with the last live stream we had and her feeling very disrespected from the way that I treated her. Aside from the disrespect that she was showing to the panel, she decided to make a video talking about and trying to expose me. So I thought about this for a long time and I wasn't going to talk about it, but a lot of people on my channel are starting to think that I am something that I am not. And so I have to talk about it at this point, right? And once again, I'll leave the judge of character to you guys. All right. Once again, if you don't want to hear this, just fast forward or leave for about 20 minutes. We'll get back to our usual programming in a minute. Right? Bejik says, remember to like on the way in. Key says, heifer isn't even that bad. You don't have to cater to her or kiss her. Yeah. I don't even use the word heifer, but we're just going to kind of go with this as we go, right? For the record, I've never called black women heifers. Right? So why and how did I become how I became? Because a lot of people now, some black women think that I'm a panderer. I'm going to show you a couple of videos of myself in my earlier years, explaining where I was and the mindset that I had and why I was at one point or another an active part of the Manosphere, right? Why I was an active member in the Manosphere, why I believed in some of the red pill logic and irrational thinking that I now preach so vehemently against. Let's take a trip down memory lane and watch young truth, or I guess you could say old truth, right? In some regards. Hello, everyone that's just now joining. Hello, hello. Let's get into this. This video I'm getting ready to play to you is from November 11th, 2018. It had 3,000 views. It was a video of me explaining why I stopped intercourse, right? This was probably in my earlier Manosphere days. I was sad. I was heartbroken. And I explained in this video why I was the way I was. So let's listen to this really quickly. Before we go on, this is necessary. Once again, if you're not a member of this channel, you might not find this that interesting, but this has to be said. Why I stopped intercourse and became an incel, involuntary celibate at one point in my life. I shouldn't have even said that really, because it's illegal in Texas. Here we go.
After the relationship ended.
Yes, I used to smoke cigarettes, by the way. So This was during the time I was homeless. So once again, we'll listen up.
like something crazy, but it really didn't matter to me. I was head over here.
All right.
I had a girlfriend for a long time. I had a girlfriend for a long time, and I was so in love with her that sex didn't even matter. I know that might sound like something crazy, but it really didn't matter to me. I was head over heels for this girl. I loved everything about her smile, her eyes. I took pictures of her. I treated her like a freaking model, man. Gave her money, gave her everything I could, but it ended up not being enough. So that relationship ended. Sorry the video's shaky, y'all. There we go. I might just set the camera down. How's that?
So I'm just talking about my past relationship and kind of what led me to the point to where I was at when I was in a very bad place and I disliked all women with a passion. I disliked all women with a passion. Black, white. I made videos on black, white women, why women are just a waste of time, why I'm a incel, why I stopped having intercourse, why intercourse is a waste of time. I made videos back in the day when I took these all down because I don't believe them anymore. This is one of our arguments. Why'd you take these videos down? Because there's no purpose for this video anymore. This is the old truth. I don't need to have this video up anymore. But this is the mindset that I had back then, right? And so I'll play it a little bit longer, and then I'll kind of expand and expound on this.
There we go. So the relationship ended. One more hit. Smoking at a gas station. After the relationship ended, I was kind of in a bit of a situation with myself. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle things. It took me a long time to get over that girl. And I want to say this about men. Men are very different how we love.
So I'll just stop it there, and we'll kind of stop it there. We'll play another video in a second. Yes, the relationship I was in was a black girl. All right, it was a black girl. It was a black woman. I loved her. I loved her to death. PNG News Media with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Let me pull it up really quickly. PNG says, "I have your back, bro." Kevin Samuels, the agent of white supremacy. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Nicholas Pickle says, "She's being paid. You could have had a conversation like adults and hash this out." Yeah, Oh, turn the volume up. Turn the volume up. Okay, sorry, y'all. Goodness. I'll turn the volume up on that one. I hope y'all heard a little bit of it. Sorry about that, guys. And so I was in love with a black girl, a black woman, dated her for 5 years, wanted to marry her, have kids and everything, but I became dusty. I lost my job. I lost my good paying job, and she left me. And that created a lot of resentment in my heart, right? Created a lot of pain in my heart. I turned into a very dark person, right? But there's this whole narrative that I pander right now and that I don't believe what I believe about the black community. So what I'm getting ready to show you now is a video of myself talking about the black community that I made in 2019. You see, this isn't just something new and a new concept that I've started talking about now. It's just that I decided to fully ingratiate myself in this concept. So let's listen to this really quickly. This video from 2019 called Problem with the Black Community.
3 minutes is some of the biggest issues that are in the black community. And the biggest issue is what I want to revert to something that Tupac said. And he said that America eats its babies. And I want to kind of expound on that and kind of just say more, in my opinion, black community has eaten its babies. What's natural to a human being is the fact that no matter where you go, there are going to be people that like you and people that don't like you. What's natural in the fact is finding the people that do like you and building a stable civilization and community with them. What's unnatural in the fact is finding people that you find the same similarities in community and community similarities with, and destabilizing a community. And that's what you see in the black community a lot of the time. If you're from the hood, if you're from the nice area, it's the same thing. Phone just moved. You still have issues with some people of your same kind. White people have this a lot less. Not to say white people don't fight amongst themselves. Everybody fights. But as a fact of the matter, white on white crime is less prevalent than black on black crime. That's just a fact. Okay. Well, the destabilization of the black race, and yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I'm not saying that there haven't been plots put against our people, but what I am saying that is our people have always been the ones that still go against each other. All right. Um, I want to take this last little thing that happened in RIP. This.
So I've always talked about the how the black people can be the worst of black people's problems, right? This is nothing new. This is no new content. Once again, this is from January 21st, 2019. So the fact that people think that I'm up here pandering somehow and pandering to black women isn't the case. I've always talked about the black community and the issues that plague it. It just so happens that as I realized my dust and as I realized my failures as a man, that I decided to start focusing on the leaders, i.e., myself, the proclaimed leaders of the black community, which is why I talk about what I talk about now, right? But this isn't just something new that I just started talking about all of a sudden, okay? This isn't something random. I know some of the commenters are saying, well, you figured out a way to get paid from it, so you're pandering. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I haven't made a single dime off of YouTube, or at least I didn't make a single dime off of YouTube for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 years that I had this channel. The intention of this channel was always to just be completely honest about what I think and how I feel. And as my feelings change, I determine whether or not I want to keep certain content on my channel because it's not a perspective or a true mirror of my feelings anymore. It's not representative or representing how I feel, right? So that's why I took all these videos down because I don't feel like nothing else matters anymore, right? There's no need for that video to be on my channel, but some people are saying that I took them down because it looks bad on my part. And that's just not the case at all. Everything that I've said about myself has been pretty open, right? I've spoken pretty openly. And the bigger thing is that if somebody truly did have something to use against me, it would already be out in the public. So Coriander spoke about me calling black women heifers and she would post a video, but there's still no video posted. And I think she made this video about me 3 days ago now, right? So either you have it or you don't is my bigger thing. And if you have it, by all means, put it out there. Put it out there. But I know for a fact that you don't have it because I never called black women heifers. Have I been strong and said a lot of things about black women that I disagree with? Absolutely. Absolutely have. And it's definitely been videos that I made on the past and that I've taken down. Have I said a lot of disagreeable things about black men? Absolutely, I have. I've said some really disagreeable things about black men, and I've taken some of those videos down too, right? Just like the video you just saw. Later on, I talk about black dudes, but I took it down. So at this point, I guess people have a problem with the angle that I'm taking. I am one of the few people that does what I do. I didn't do this thinking that it was going to take off, right? That's not why I started making videos talking about black men. What sense would it make to talk about the type of men that I am myself, right? That wouldn't make much sense. The What would make more sense in my opinion is if I started talking about black women consistently, because black men talking disparagingly about black women is what's making the most money on YouTube right now in the black sector. So does that make sense, Coriander? It doesn't make much sense for me to pander or to go into a very small section, i.e., the Derek Jackson lane, if you will, and try and be that type of person because I'll have hatred from all kinds of angles in a lot of guys, and B, it's just not that proven on whether or not that could be monetarily successful or worth my time. So I never went into this just talking specifically about black men thinking that I would get paid. Many of my first videos I made on these subjects only had 5 people, 4 people watching live, right? This is just how I felt at the time. This is what I needed to say to make myself a better man, to grow as a man, and to just put my truth out there, which is all I do on this channel. All right. So there wasn't some master plan. The fact that this ended up taking off and that it's taking off now and that people are starting to see the message is great. And I'm happy for it. And yes, I'm glad to be able to make money. I would be lying to you if I said that I wasn't. I'm glad that people donate. I'm so happy that it's working out. But even if I never made a single dollar, I would still say everything I'm saying right now, just as I've said everything I've said in the past. You don't stay on YouTube making videos for 3 or 4 years and not making a dime, trying to still make money. Most people quit after that point. The reason I started my channel is because I needed something to do and I felt like it was something productive and I had to just get my truth out there. I had to speak. I had to find a community of like-minded people, right? That's why I started doing YouTube. I think a bit of it is jealousy. Some people are jealous of what I'm doing and they see the super chats and they see this as if I'm making thousands of dollars a month. I'm not. I'm not making thousands of dollars a month. Okay. I'm simply saying the things that I want to say. And some people agree, some people disagree. If you disagree with the fact that I'm trying to make the community at this point in my life better, then by all means, you're free to disagree with that. Disagree with it as much as you'd like. If you feel like the message that I say is in lie or in is just false or it's propaganda or I'm trying to pander or cater to one group of people, then by all means, you can believe whatever you'd like to. I'm not going to stop you from believing that. However, I'm also not going to stop saying what I'm saying because this is how I feel. This is what I believe now. And this is what I seek to put my time and my effort and my words into. So everybody can believe whatever they want to. You have the freedom of speech. You have the right to think whatever you want to. That's perfectly fine. All right. I get that. I'd encourage you to make your own channels, do your own research on me, put videos about me exposing me if you can. By all means, I encourage it. However, I'll keep doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay? I'll keep doing the same thing that I'm doing. Throat Goat says, I regret donating to you. Throat Goat, I am sorry you regret donating to me. I truly hope that one day you can get that donation back somehow. Unfortunately, I can't give super chats back. There's no way on my end to refund super chats. All right? So, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Read a couple more comments here. Read a couple more comments. With expectancy said what? I'm not sure what you're wetting about. Organic Pack said throw code too late. Almost 100 people watching right now. 100 people watching. We're going to get into some of the haters' comments in a second, but I want to open up the panel to some of the black women that feel that I am a sheep in wolf's clothing. If you feel that what I'm saying is a complete and utter lie and you have proof to share to the world, you are more than welcome to hop onto the panel right now. Join the panel. You will have free speech and free right to say whatever you'd like to. All right. Yes, as Scamiel says, the smoke. We'll get into the haters' comments in a while. That should be kind of a funnier section. I got a lot of haters' comments that we'll be kind of rebutting and breaking down here in a little bit. But first, I want to talk to the women that have a problem. I want to talk to the women that have a problem. Self-Love Heals with $5 super chat says, thanks for opening up. Absolutely. I have nothing to hide at this point in my life. Nav, welcome to the panel, Nav. So good to see you back here. Nav, okay. I don't think Nav has much to say right now, but Nav, hang on for a second. We'll keep you in the background in case one of the ladies decides to come up from either Eddie Adheem's channel or Coriander Yander's channel, whatever it might be. I want to keep the link open for a while. Edge Gazalia says, Throat Sheep, hit the link. Once again, Throat Goat, this is your chance. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel. Many Moon says, to be fair, it's hard to trust out here as black women. Everybody's trying to make money off of us. Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like I said before, I didn't start this to make money. Am I happy to be able to make money? Absolutely. If I didn't make a dime after this, would I still do what I do? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? YouTube can be gone just like that. Somebody can report your channel. Guys, my channel was deleted just like that. This can be here one day and gone the next. I don't make my career, I don't make my monetary goals based off of YouTube. My channel already went down for 2 weeks and I got it back. Thank God, but I could have not gotten it back, right? So it would be foolish of me to try and solely rely on YouTube as the way to live my life. That doesn't make much sense because it's just too shaky, right? Things can happen too much. I mean, heck, we can have something like this where people are trying to cancel me, right? And just like that, I could all of a sudden lose quality of life, even though I haven't made that much quality of life on YouTube, right? So that's not what I do. If the channel gets deleted, I'll start making videos on another channel. This is just what I like to do. This is how I feel. I don't know what else to say to you. I'm waiting for you, Throat Goat, to come onto the panel. Shui Celeste says, this isn't even pandering. I've never heard THT say the black woman is God or anything like that. I've said it on plenty of times on this live stream before. Listen, of course, black women aren't perfect. Of course, black men aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. I even said that on the video that we watched from 2019. Nobody's perfect. Only thing that I focus on is who takes the brunt of the responsibility, right? That's the realization I had. So somebody asked me, well, explain what made you stop participating in anti-black women streams or stop listening to Kevin Samuels, and explain how that came about. And Hi Hags, I'll let you speak in just 1 second. Hi Hags. Stampitis, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Hey, not much, Stamp, not much. I appreciate Stampitis for always joining the stream, always being honorable, I can say, right? So the minute I realized what grievous areas I had for participating and listening to Kevin Samuel's stream and finding it entertaining and this and that is when I talked to one of my little sisters on the phone. It was nearing their birthday, and I spoke to my little sisters, and she was talking to me about her prom and things of that nature, and she was telling me about the boys that she wanted to go to school with. They go to school with mostly white kids, right? And so there are a few black boys and stuff. And she told me a couple stories, and one of them hit me really hard. I don't want to get into it too much, and I took a step back and I said, "Wow." I said, "You know what? That's not right." I took a even further step back when I looked at my own self and I said, "Well, wait a second, Jonathan. What?" And I've told this before many a times on my channel. I said, "What exactly are you offering for women right now? Why exactly are you so upset at your ex-girlfriend? Why have you somehow placed black women responsible for everything that your ex-girlfriend did to you, regardless of whether she was right or wrong, right? When you have a sister that's black, when you have a mother that's black, when you know black women in your family that are good women." I said, "Why have you decided to make it your own personal vendetta to listen to black men talk about black women and find it entertaining?" And that's the moment of waking up that I had, the moment where I joke about it, right? I make jokes about me being dusty. I put it at the bottom of the screen here every once in a while. I haven't in a while, but my dusty banner at the bottom helped me get out of dustiness, for God's sakes, right? I had to realize and finally acknowledge that I'm a failure as a man. I'm a failure as a person myself. And I wouldn't even want my sister to date a guy like me. That's the moment when I woke up and realized that everything I believed, everything I thought I knew, everything I thought I represented was grievously in error. I was grievously mistaken. And I had no reason to believe what I was believing at the time. That's when I woke up and said, "You know what? You're wrong, Jonathan. You're wrong about this. You, you, you need to change yourself, and you need to change quickly, and you need to make yourself a better person, because ultimately the reason that you're in the position you are now isn't because a black woman decided to leave you. It's not because you've had bad success with black women or bad success with black dudes, whatever it might be. It's because I failed as a grown man." Right. And that's something that most of the men in the manosphere don't accept. They don't accept that they failed. They don't accept the mistakes that they made in life. And that's why I had my revelation and decided to start talking about what I start talking about now and what I'll continue to talk about. Right. That's why. So my sister is the reason why I finally woke up. I like to say that. Welcome everybody to the panel. I want to go ahead and go in order. Nav, I know you were waiting. You didn't have much to say right now. Stampitis, I saw you on Coriander Yander's channel and her stream and that comment section saying that you took up my side. I do appreciate that, Stampitis. I know we give you hell, but I do appreciate you being honest about the way that she was approaching the panel, which honestly was disrespectful, right? I want to say something before you go, Stampitis. Coriander Yander is not the first time she's been disrespectful to ladies on this panel and on this stream. She seems to have an entitled attitude that somehow she made this channel, that somehow she is the reason that I'm responsible for, or she's responsible for me having X amount of views and this and that. All right. Eddie Adheem does have a good amount to do with some of my growth and a large portion of my growth. And I credited him and left his links on my channel for a long time until, he started trying to disparage me as well. So now Eddie Adheem's channel's links are not on my channel for obvious reasons, right? But I always gave credit where credit was due. And somehow she feels like because she donated money to be on my panel after I rushed to try and get her on the panel, that somehow I did her wrong for kicking her off for being disrespectful. Again, it's not the first time, right? I want to appreciate Stampitis, and everybody, I know we give Stampitis hell, but he stood up and was on our side in this case, right? So unfortunately, if it comes down to a black woman being disrespectful to the black women on this panel, I'm still going to treat her as an enemy, right, in this case. And that's why she is upset, because she is ultimately an enemy of everything that I'm trying to say. Make no mistake about it. She just happens to be a black woman as well. I hate that it had to come down to that, but that's the natural truth of the matter. Stampitis, the floor is yours. After everybody talks, we'll get to the hateful comments, but we got to clear the air once again. Stampitis, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for inviting me onto your channel. My opinions about it were pretty much, she came on and said, "Oh, I donated this amount of money," which is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, right. I'm pretty sure you appreciate any amount of donations, but it's Absolutely. Just like how you say black women don't owe black men anything. You didn't owe her anything. You didn't say, "Hey, if I donate you, or if you donate me this money, I'm gonna treat you special." Even if she boosted up your channel, that doesn't give her the right to come disrespect what you got going on. It's your channel.
Absolutely.
You don't owe her anything. And that's me being not biased in the situation, because obviously I don't agree with some of the things you say, but I just saw it as like entitled, and honestly, it should be a lesson to you actually, like, because I guarantee you, if the roles were reversed, no one would be fitted up for you. Everyone would be against you. I guarantee you. If it was you doing that, it'd be a totally different story.
Yeah, I saw that portion of the comment, and that's kind of what the difficult thing about, you know, kicking Coriander off is that, you know, it did give the Manosphere some ammo to use against us, because a lot of the guys were like, "Oh, why'd you kick her off? Why'd you kick the black woman off? I thought you supported black women, right?" A lot of these comments were in the live stream, and so yeah, it was a bit against the channel, you know, so it definitely did some damage, but at the end of the day, you know, like, I think what you said is perfect, and I appreciate your support. Definitely. Let's go ahead and move on really quickly. We'll move to Jedi Mike. Then we'll go with Siamese Cat, and then Nav. Go ahead, Jedi Mike.
Hey man, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, Titus and everybody? Yeah, I can just say just like what I've been watching, observing here, because I'm not really aware of Coriander or anyone else like that. But what I kind of came across your channel, like with just certain videos you've done, like even years ago. I look back in just videos when you were in your car. Is one thing I just kind of saw with what I kind of felt even my younger age too. Even though I'm like only 22, I can say I'm not old, but you know, it's just the saying that. What is his passion? I don't see his pandering or anything like that. Just like, this is our community and this is our problem. So it just almost just like, it's the sadness of the reality hitting you in the face. Like, listen, it's just like, this is our room. This is like, we're the ones that have properly cared for it and everything, and now we have to clean it up, and it's our responsibility. That's what that's what I see out of you. But going into the whole donations part of it and stuff like that is just, you know, you have the whole thing about, you know, you don't throw your pearls amongst the swine. It's like, if people are not worth my time, you know, arguing, investing too, it's like, you're not worth my time. I'm not going to waste, you know, debating with you. And especially you're disrespectful to people who have actually, you know, built platforms from the ground up, not even just you, or even to the people, panelists here who have benefited into the discussion. It's just that we can agree. That's why we can agree and disagree. That's why we're here. But when you want to disrespect the host or platform or even the audience itself, then that's kind of when it's, especially when it's kind of based out of integrity, that we're just only prospering, trying to benefit Black people in terms of us men getting back into reclaiming our image. And when you try to destroy that, then it's like, there's no excuse. You know, we're going to know you bring the disrespect, and we're going to treat you accordingly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So well said. Thank you, Jedi Mike. Melinda, 1973 with a $30 super chat. Melinda's been super supportive of this channel financially. Thank you so much, Melinda. She says, thanks. I am not a mammy for supporting this channel. My man happens to be white. Truth is breaking, though. This is the right thing to do. Absolutely, Melinda. And thank you so much again for the $30 bomb. You've been consistent, and I really do appreciate that. It means the world. It means the world. NYC Songman says, salute the Honest Truth panel, mods, and chat. Hello from warm and pleasant Brooklyn. It's interesting words to describe Brooklyn, but I tell you what, coming from yourself, I think that people like you definitely bring the warmer and more pleasant side of Brooklyn out. So shout out to you from Texas. I hope you're doing white, NYC Songman. I hope you're doing all right, not white. Kelvin says, your honesty and transparency is inspiring. Yeah, you know, Expose the Manosphere says, interesting story. I have nothing to hide. Ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty honest, you know, and so when people tell me that I'm being dishonest, you know, I kind of, you know, I pull back a little bit and say, what do you mean? My life's on Front Street. I've been pretty honest about everything, probably too much at this point. B. Candy says, you are part of the Manosphere? No, I never actively made videos talking about Black women or talking bad about Black women. I never made videos like that. So what I used to do was listen to Kevin Samuels. I used to listen to Coach Greg Adams, Donovan Sharp. You know, I used to think that the women were the problem, not just Black women, but all women in general, right? Which is why I made the video why I'm an incel, involuntary celibate, why I don't believe in relationships. I made videos about me going MGTOW, man going his own way, right? And so I wasn't necessarily a part of the Manosphere. I was a part of what you call Black Pill, which is that, you know, it's a very, I guess you could say, nihilistic way to look at life, which is just nothing matters, right? It's all screwed up. You just need to focus on yourself. That's
you mean fatalism, sort of?
Yeah, fatalism, essentially. I guess you could say that. Definitely Siamese. I appreciate that. But no, I never actively just made videos only talking about women. Have I made videos talking about women? Yes, absolutely I have. But I've made videos talking about black men as well, so I've done both. I just happen to focus on videos talking about black men right now because black men are the quote unquote leaders. So that's what I focus on, right? So let's see. We'll read a couple more comments. And once again, if you want to come onto the panel, Be Candy, you're more than welcome. Come onto the panel. I appreciate it. Neva. The $5 super chat here, and we'll get into the interesting stuff in a second, guys. But bear with me. I know everybody's like, some guys like, we don't want to hear this crap. I'm sorry. All things not a gene with the $5 super chat. So Coriander pinned my comment on the video she made. That's good. I'm glad. Kina says she's been very disrespectful. He says she's been very disrespectful. Absolutely, she's a bit disrespectful. The Chocolate Angel rebranded with a $5 super chat. Good to see you in here, the Chocolate Angel. There's a $3.99 super chat. I'm trying to find it. Forgive me. Okay, Asia. She says, "Homegirl trying to be a panel pimp. Girl, get the F out of here." Yeah. Coriander's got some serious energy, man. Coriander's got some serious energy. And like I said, she says she has videos of me calling black women heifers. Then release it. Why are you still hiding it? I think it's been 4 days now since you made that video. Release the video of me calling black women heifers. All right. I'm waiting. Taylor Beauty says people can change and grow. God forbid. And grow. And once that happens, their perspectives change. Sound like this is what THT is saying. Absolutely. One of the things she says, well, he took all his videos down of the past. Yeah, took a lot of videos down. There's no need to have that on my channel anymore, right? Some of those videos had a lot of views, I might add. All right, so we're going to go on to a couple more people. Siamese Cat, I'll let you have the floor really quickly, and then Nab, I'll let you have the floor. Then we'll move on to the Kevin Scamuel's comments from the haters, the defense force that I received on this channel. Go ahead, Siamese Cat. Drop the link? Okay.
I'd like to say thanks for being honest about your past and being upfront about it. That's always a breath of fresh air. About what you've done in the past. I'm sure the right girl will find you and appreciate that.
I appreciate
or whoever,
that.
Whether it be one or maybe two or whatever. I will also say that this other truth has come up that's important. Just because you might have done something wrong, or at least that you're not particularly proud of in your past, it does not mean you can't advocate against it now. And that is something many people struggle with anymore. And yes, there are some people who cannot evolve or grow. And thus they will call attempts at growth hypocrisy, the tu quoque thing, if you will. Or maybe if it's a woman, the ad feminine on top of that.
Yes.
They might.
Siamese, that is some serious wisdom right there. You're absolutely right. And this is why I do what I do, right? If we can get men who do hate women, black women, women in general, men who are black pill thinkers, purple pill, whatever pill they believe in, whatever color, if we can get them to finally wake up and say, oh, you know what? This is wrong. I've been thinking wrong. I've been thinking twisted and illogically. If we can get them to wake up, then yeah, that's a good thing. Regardless of what they thought before, the fact that they're waking up is beneficial. That gives us more troops on our metaphorical army, right? And so the people like to use your past against you, and that's something that I never do, and I've never done, and I'll never do to anybody. That's why I always talk on this channel about women in particular and people in particular trying to do better for themselves. Okay, yes, she made a mistake. Okay, yes, situations happen. Yes, divorce, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to better yourself, who are you to try and tell that person that they don't have the right to try and better themselves or see themselves in a certain way or light? That's contradicting of everything that we say on this channel. If you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to better yourself. That's it. Period. That should be the goal for everybody in life. And that's no different when it comes down to women hating or woman bashing or whatever it might be. Listen, if a man comes onto the stream and he's like, man, I used to love Kevin Samuels, this and that, but I'm glad that I found you and I'm starting to wake up and realize that I was wrong, we would praise him. We wouldn't have an issue with that. We'd be like, man, congrats, bro. I was right there with you, man. Congrats. It's good to finally see the truth and to finally have a balanced perspective on life. That's why we're doing this to begin with, right? But women like Coriander Yander would use that against you and saying that you're damaged good forever, which is pretty much what Kevin Samuels does for the women on his channel. Once they've made a mistake or they've had a kid out of wedlock, or I don't know, they're overweight or whatever it might be, somehow that's used to judge them and mark them for life. And that's just not fair, right? That's not fair. So that's not something that I'll do on this channel. And that's another reason why I had a big problem and issue with Coriander's rhetoric, right? Is that even if I did call black women heifers, which I didn't, but even if I did in the past, would it not be correct or right for me to try and right those wrongs? Would that not be right? Or would you want me to just stick with my anger and rage against black women? I don't understand. Isn't that essentially what Kevin Samuels represents? Isn't that what we're fighting against? I don't know. We'll go to Nav really quickly. Nav, welcome to the channel. Make sure that you hit the like button once again. Tiffany Dish says that. Thank you so much. Nav, the floor is yours if you're here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly, Nav. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. I don't have too much to say. I want to hear some haters join the panel so I can hear some alternate perspectives and how you're going to debate it.
Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, Azia says heifer is not even a bad word. I don't even use the word heifer. So when she said he called black women heifers, I was like, oh well, I know she's lying about that because I don't call anybody heifer. That's not in my terminology or my vocab. That's not in my speech patterns. I don't say heifer. So I've never said that. It's an interesting word. I was like, heifer, a female cow. Okay, why not? Loren, the floor is yours. Go ahead, Loren. Do you think that I'm a panda bear, Loren?
No, definitely not. But I gotta tell you something.
Sure.
You did say heifer.
I did say heifer. Really? When did I say it?
It wasn't a video. It was a comment. She had posted these like screenshots of you underneath of someone's video, leaving comments. You said something about heifer, but honest, I don't care. You know.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did.
Well, I did. I guess I did. If the comment's there, I guess I said it. What was the comment? What was it me saying?
It was just like general, like something about Jessica X too, I think. And it was like, yeah, because y'all are heifers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And who was I talking about?
It was a Jessica X video. And,
okay.
I didn't really I didn't look that deep into it. I didn't feel a need to go investigate that much because I feel like you are a reformed manosphere man, and like a lot of other, a lot of guys are reformed manosphere men. That's why I expose the manospheres interviews with ex manosphere, because a lot of the people that find the space come in angry over a relationship or something that happened. And this space tells them that what happened is not your fault. She's the problem. Women are the problem. So when they come there, and I'm sure you probably said probably stuff that you don't even remember saying. And the only reason why you don't remember saying it is because you probably would never say that now. It's not who you are now. But to be completely honest, all of this is completely besides the point. All of this. I don't care about any of it. Because the only thing that really happened that night was that Jessica Coriander was at work. And she happened to look on her phone and see that the Honest Truth stream had 700 people up in there. And that's why she came through, because I haven't even seen her over here in quite a while. And so that's why she came through, and you were trying to let her on. You did let her on. You did let her speak. But that was about nothing else other than her trying to, jump in and be a part of the stream and be a part of the attention, because it was your biggest stream that you ever had, right? So it's kind of a coincidence that, the biggest thing you've ever had, she's fighting like heck to get on. She's paying all this money. We don't pay money to join the stream. To join the stream is free. So it's just kind of a coincidence that stream of all streams, it's, of utmost importance for you to be here. And then when you get here, you try to come check everybody and tell everybody to calm down and go to bed. And, so I'm like, whatever. It's no, you saw a successful stream that you were trying to be a part of. That's all that was.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you're definitely right there, and I'm glad. Thank you for standing and correcting me. If I said it, then I said it, and I hate that I said it, but if it's the truth, that's what happened. Then I said that. I don't think that I would have, but I can't fight the truth. I can't argue against that, and so I apologize for saying what I said and calling women heifers. If if I did say that, whoever I was speaking about, and that was the old me, right? But I think you brought up a good point, Loren. I think that yes, she was a bit jealous because we haven't seen or heard from Coriander in a long time. And so when she came, I tried to make sure that I got space for her and make space for her, but she still left. She still left angry. So Magnificent One says that's all right. I appreciate your forgiveness, Magnificent One. I appreciate that. Somebody else in the comments said they want to fight me. I think it was Toya. Toya says we have to fight. Toya, please. I'm so sorry. Please don't fight me. Please don't fight me. Y'all are hilarious. Maskcast says, so angry he forgot is all. IK says big deal. Yeah, you know what? Hey, I can't excuse that kind of behavior, man. I can't excuse that kind of behavior. I was in a bad place, right? I was in a bad place.
Call it what they call it, red pill rage. That's what it was. You don't even remember what you do when you're in a state of rage. You're angry because your girl left you. You find a space, and then you come in, and all these men are telling you that it's not your fault. So yeah, like you're gonna have a ball and go crazy, and you don't remember half the stuff that you did. So that's why I'm just like, whatever. I really don't care. I think that was all fluff because she just wanted to get on the panel, which just happened to be the largest stream you ever had. That's all that was about. So now she's bringing up this other stuff, trying to discredit you and act like it's not sincere. Well, if it wasn't sincere, then why didn't you listen to Eddie when he told you at first? If it's not sincere, it's only sincere because you couldn't come on and act like you're the boss of the panel and tell everybody to be quiet and calm down and all that. Like I was just on because I like Eddie's channel. I still support Eddie. I was just on his channel, and Mocha Mommy was just on there going off. She was cursing. She was going off to talking to somebody, saying something because it was like passionate. This is the place where we talk about it, right? We don't come here to like. I'm not in this space all the time. I can't do it. So when we come here, we talk about it. And so sometimes things do get heated and people do get passionate. And it's just like I don't know who you think you are to come tell everybody to like calm down. It's like that's not your place.
Absolutely. So well said, Lorena. I appreciate that. I'm going to put the panel link up one more time for any lady that has grievances against me. If you feel that still, after everything you've heard, and I'm still in the wrong, I apologize to you. And I hope that I could change your mind. However, if things have to be bygones, then I'll let bygones be bygones. Right. But last chance, if you have a problem with what I'm saying, join the panel. I want to thank all the ladies who haven't held that against me. That means the world, right? That means the world. To be able to still have the forgiveness from y'all, even against or amongst the words I might have said in my past, So that means the world, and I can't thank you enough for that, And if everybody decided to leave, I couldn't blame you for that either. If it was that offensive, then by all means, I would encourage you to leave, and I would just hope that at some point or another you could believe the words I'm saying. I truly mean and feel now. That would be my hope. So we're gonna wait a couple more minutes. I'm going to. Organic Black says nothing to forgive. Well, I shouldn't have said heifers if I did. I think that's wrong. Beijik says you like THD. Definitely. Let's go on to the Kevin Scamul's haters and comments. You can still join if you'd like to, and we'll revisit this. But the main crux of the show now that we got that cleared up, the main crux of the show. The men who have been leaving a lot of comments, obviously, we're getting a lot of comments. Obviously, we're picking up a lot of traction. This channel will grow and will continue to grow because of the nature of the analytics and the nature of what I talk about, right? So I'll keep using Kevin Scamul's, as Loren said, just as he keeps using black women to be the doormats that he walks over. I'll keep using him. I took some pictures of some comments, about 15 in particular, and I want to just explain how I feel versus how you feel. Some of them are supposed to be joining us. I don't think they're going to join us, but some of them are supposed to be joining us. But we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, let's move on. Kevin Samuel's Defense Force. I hope he joins. We'll see. Magnificent One says you shouldn't have, but I'm not holding it against you. Absolutely. All right, here we go. No more of that. Let us wait no further. Here we go. The first comment by Truff Taylor. Truff Taylor said this. All right, let me zoom in so we can all see a bit better. Truff Taylor says, ew, how can a man hate his own kind? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you remember when I talk about that the people who insult me 90% of the time don't have proper grammar. I know that you think I'm exaggerating, but I'm being dead serious, right? He said, "Ew, how can a man hate?" Now he missed the H, so it's not that big, but hate his own kind so much. Truth, this is what I have to say to you. It's not that I hate my own kind so much. I'm a black man myself. It's that I hate what black men by and large represent. I hate that somehow black men have been, including myself in the past, the biggest failures, yet still somehow expect the world to worship them. That's what I disdain very strongly about black men. All right. And that's what I talk about now, right? That's what I disdain so much about myself. And that's why I talk about what I talk now and why I proclaim that I am dusty and I need to get my life together and that I needed to make sure that I did the best for myself because I was failing as a man. This is something that you've heard me say on this channel numerous times. I'm not just saying this just to say it, but I truly believe it, in my heart of hearts. This next comment is from Freddie McKay, I think his name is Freddie McKay. Let's check this comment out. We'll read it. We're going to start with the light comments first, then we'll move on to the heavier comments. Freddie McKay says, Kevin Samuels is telling the truth. He doesn't hate black women. WTF. Right? You see, this is tricky because these men a lot of the time don't have the ability to read in between the lines, right? They see everything as a black and white type discussion where if somebody's telling them one thing, they take that for what it is, literally, instead of looking at the actual emotions and the connotations of the conversation behind what the man is saying. So essentially, the man is saying, Kevin Samuels is saying, yeah, listen, I'm trying to make y'all better. I'm trying to make y'all better. But you ain't shit. You ain't this. You ain't that. You're low value. You're this, you're that. When you truly do care for somebody, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I truly care about them, if they ask me how they look in a dress, if she asks me how she looks in a dress, if she asks me if the food is good or delicious, I wouldn't outright say you look horrible in the dress, right? I wouldn't outright say this is disgusting. This is the worst meal I've ever had. Even if it truly was the worst meal I've ever had in my life, it adds no benefit to the person that I truly care about for me to sit back and say, man, this meal is horrible. What were you thinking? Is it the truth? It might be the truth. It might be the worst meal I've ever had in my life. However, when you care about somebody, you say things in a way to where you can soften the blow. You can cushion their emotions to where you can get your point across, right? To where you can get your feelings across, but in a way that their feelings stay intact. This is why I say Kevin Samuels hates black women, because there's none of that on his channel, right? I've never heard or seen him let a woman down gracefully. That doesn't pay. That doesn't make the numbers. That doesn't drive the analytics towards his content. What does drive it is a blood sport, right? And he knows that. This is why I say overall he hates black women. So you see it as what he's saying, that he's trying to somehow help them, that he's somehow trying to make them better. But it's a contradiction in my opinion, because when you truly do care about somebody, aside from actually providing a way for them to be better, which he never does other than go to counseling, he never says anything other than go to counseling, right? You say it in a way to where it's easy for them to digest, right? That's why I say that. Let's go on to the next comment here. And if anybody wants to talk, you're more than welcome to just unmute yourself and talk in this stream. This isn't going to be the longest stream ever. This is going to be the most complex stream. It's not going to be my typical, like I said, researching and hammering. There you go. It's the art of tact. I love that, Siamese.
Being honest, but not rude.
There you go.
And that is something that he severely lacks. And I'm talking about KS. Very tactless.
Absolutely.
And also commits a lot of erasure. And even he erases the LGBT plus a lot. He ignores them and ignores neurodiversity and ignores anything that could cause weight issues that women may sometimes have. But that's a tale for later.
Absolutely. Great comment, Siamese. I appreciate that. Siamese got some verbiage. Hey, Alexander, forgive me, man. Alexander, you're on the bottom row and I was scrolled up. I didn't even see your icon, man. Alexander, go ahead, buddy.
Number one, I think people can learn from their mistakes, but and I respect you, and you know what? I don't fault you for what you said in the past. And here's the thing. I think the divestment community. I think you are a part of the divestment community as well, because you think about you point out the same things that Eddie Atin points out,
right?
And Coriander points out. Now, I respect Coriander, and this is, and this is I think we shouldn't be fighting each other. We shouldn't be fighting each other in the spaces. We should be coming together despite of people's mistakes, because as I saw a live when Eddie Atin was talking about Joe Budden, and the thing is, I didn't even know that he has 2 baby mamas. Now I did hear about Sin Santana, and I did
And
hear about the abuse and stuff.
and Alex, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of the time we talk about Joe Budden being a golden dusty, and I think that Joe Budden is a prime example of when we do get money, when a black man is able to get affluence, somehow we're still not able to build the community around us, right? And Joe Budden's going through a lot of things right now. And Jedi, did you want to say something really quickly? I think Jedi accidentally unmuted yourself. And right now he's pretty much self-destructing, right? And so I'm glad you brought up the Joe Budden situation. We'll talk about that a little later because I want to say a couple of things about the Joe Budden situation as well. If you want to join the panel, the Poor Man's Podcast, I've seen a lot of your videos, man. So good to see you in here. Poor Man's Podcast, I think, has around 30 or 40,000 subscribers, and so he's pretty big in the manosphere, I would say, at this point. Poor Man's Podcast, I just put the link up on the stream. You are more than welcome to join the stream. All right. And anybody else can join the stream if you'd like to as well. Yeah, Joe is a scumbag. Let's read another Manosphere hateful comment that they were made against me. Now we're going to get a little bit more intense here. We're going to get a little bit more intense with these comments. All right. This is where they start to get kind of juicy. All right. This is where they start to get kind of juicy. Let me share my screen here. On to the next one. This comment was left on my channel. Let me see. 11 hours ago. Make sure everybody can see it really quickly. Oh, let me blow it up. Sorry, you can't see that. All right. Let's zoom in. Combo King says modern women, especially the ones who are addicted to social media, are the biggest suckers. All right. These are the ladies who guys pander and lie to because it makes them feel good, then go out in the real world and become miserable because reality telling them something different. Right. Okay. Modern women, especially the ones who are addicted to social media, are the biggest suckers. These are the ladies who guys pander and lie to because it makes them feel good, then go out in the real world and become miserable because reality telling them something differently. I want to kind of make one point. The gentleman leaving this comment has a avatar with a monkey wearing a hoodie, smoking a blunt. So just take that into account. Take that into account before we even get into it right here. Okay. Once again, the cognitive dissonance is resounding in a situation like this, right? Cognitive dissonance is on astronomical levels when I read some of these comments. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's talk about the reality, shall we, Combo King? You are part of the least earning, least educated, most incarcerated, and least desired group of men in the world, as am I. I'm not talking about the black men who are worth their salt, but rather the majority of black men. So, my good sir, please take a large dose of your own medicine and think about that. When we're talking about realities, if you want to bring up realities, those are the realities of the black men, right? This is how every other race views black men. These are facts. So before you look at black women's realities, you should really stare at your own reality in the face, because your reality is a lot more grim than black women's. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure, Evie, go ahead.
What I just don't understand what are black what I want to know what are black women's reality, like, just I want to understand the black man's reality isn't that great, but what are black women's reality? I just want to
Okay. Yeah, black women's reality is that they're told to follow a group of men who by and large are failing. And if they decide not to follow them, by and large, if they make a mistake with one of the failing men, by and large, if they make a mistake, period, by and large, then they're apprehended, they're admonished, they're reprimanded, and told that they need to submit to the largest group of men who have failed as a collective in America. That's what black women's realities are. Black women are part of the least desired economic, least earning economic part of America, and then are told that they need to also submit to the least earning, least economic part of America's men. That's what black women's realities are. So, in essence, to answer your question in one sentence, they're given crumbs and told to make a 5-course meal. That's the reality of black women. All right. So I hope that answers your question.
I understand, but
Right.
I don't. I'm not trying to
So
be
what else do you have
be
now?
a Kevin Samuels follower or anything like that, but like, why is it that it seems that black men are married at higher rates than black women?
Right. So we'll go to the statistical argument, because like I said before, I can disparage every statistic you have, and you'll go back tonight or tomorrow and figure out more stats to bring up. We can argue about stats all day. Most of the stats that y'all talk about, and I disproved a few of them on my last stream, aren't true. For instance, the 20% of black men have 80% of the children. We disparaged that last stream, and we can keep going back and forth, but I'm not going to talk about stats. One of these streams, I'm going to talk about statistics for the entire stream, and then it'll be probably one of the last times I talk about statistics, because I know all of you graduated from Harvard School of Math, right? You all graduated with degrees in whatever it might be, and so I get that you know all the stats, but you don't know all the stats. Moreover, you don't know any of the stats, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've seen most of the stats that you're talking about, and we'll talk about that some other time, Evie. This isn't the time or place for it right now, but we will talk about that some other time, okay? Era Black TV, is this the Poor Man's Podcast, I assume?
No, this is Era Black TV. Peace.
Oh, okay, Era Black TV, good to have you on. Are you a YouTube content creator?
Yes.
All right, good deal, good deal. Well, I'll definitely check out your channel. Where do you lie on the fence, in agreement with what I say or disagreement?
First of all, I'm just trying to understand, are you downplaying the importance of a black woman or her past money?
Am I downplaying the importance of black women or her past money? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm fully with the progress of black women, and I talk about the progress that black women are showing towards the community, which in a lot of aspects is more progressive than the black men. You know, they out-educate, they have businesses that are building businesses at a much larger rate than we are. So no, I'm 1000% behind black women.
Okay, because I'm thinking like I'm seeing in the world that black women have come up. They've got great career jobs, entrepreneurs, living very well.
Right. Yeah. Black women are doing very well. They're doing good. Is this the first time on your channel, on the channel, Era?
Yeah, this is my first time here.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, man. This is the place where we come to talk about the real facts of the matter in regards to the black community, you know. And so most of the men in the manosphere would call men like us simps, right, for speaking the truth and for supporting our women. You know, a lot of them, as we kind of talked about and discussed earlier, are in a very red pill rage type state where they hate women, all women, particularly black women, because they're black themselves. And so here we disprove a lot of their negative talking points and show the actual evidence and statistics in some cases behind what we're saying, and the proof behind what we're saying, to compare to their lies and their illogical beliefs. So no, we support black women over here, my brother. We support them, as well as the good black men. You know, we support good black people, period. You know, so I'll definitely check your channel out, man. I'll definitely check your channel out. Hang on, you can stay on the panel for as long as you want. I'm sure we'll have a couple people who come up that can challenge you, and insult you, call you a simp, whatever it might be. This is the daily. We'll get into some more comments, and then if you want to unmute yourself, you can talk. Anybody can as well. If you had anything to add to the hate comments that we're getting ready to read. Cherie says more like the Harvard School of Myth. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Shui says Air Black TV is cool people. I've talked to him before. Definitely.
Hey,
All
Artis, can I ask him a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
So if they're doing so well, then how come it hasn't changed their outcome, especially when it comes to dating?
You talking about?
chime in? Because I actually wanted to comment on that, but I'm gonna
Loren,
options are few and
hold
far.
on, ladies. Hold on, ladies. Stampitis, every time you speak, Loren is on it. Loren, I appreciate it. I'm gonna let you go after Era TV Black, Loren, since he's kind of new, and then after Loren, Siamese. Go ahead, Era.
Okay, you're talking about black women and why they relationships aren't working out.
Well, yeah, and just in general, the community, if they're doing so much better than us, then how come they haven't really changed much of anything?
Well, they're not able to change anything. I mean, they're women. I mean, how much? I mean, they're gonna bring babies into this
Era
world.
Black, I think you cut out for a second and your signal dropped. Okay, go ahead. We hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. They can't change. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
So you're saying women can't change things? Is that what you're saying?
Change things like what? Like, give me an example. What do you want to be changed?
And I'll kind of hold on a second, Air Black. I'll kind of go into this. Stampitis, I'll say one thing and then I want to let Loren go, and then we'll come back to you, Air, in a second. But I want to say that Stampitis, you know how I feel about that. It's expecting women essentially to be the leaders of the community, but that's not what we do on this channel, because if the men want to be the leaders, then they're going to have to take responsibility of the changing. Now, here's also what I have to say before we go to Loren, Stampitis, is that this community, which has taken, I don't know, 300, 400 years to get to the point to where we are now, has been led by black men predominantly. And so after 300 years or 400 years of non-progression, you can't expect black women to, even though they are doing very well and making very large strides in progression for our economic status and things of that nature, you can't expect that to change in 20 or 30 or even 50 years. It takes even longer to fix the damage that's been done, right? So it's going to take a decent amount of time. It's going to take a good amount of years to really fix where black people are by and large. It might not take hundreds of years, right? But we've gotten to the place to where we are now through hundreds of years, slavery, then being free, and then going right back to where we are now, which is the highest crime-ridden environments, the lowest property value, this, and that. We've already talked about this all before. So it's not going to just change overnight. It's impossible for that to happen. We'll come back to you in a little bit, Stampitis. Era, we'll come back to you in a little bit as well. Loren, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when people always bring up how come they're not getting married? Because I just feel like the whole point of this Manosphere space is to get black women to stop valuing education and doing better for themselves and put marriage as the prize instead. We're supposed to want to value marriage and marriage to black men over all else. And a lot of black women are not willing to do that, especially since a lot of black men are not really trying to get on their game as much as they can and as much as they should. Okay, when black women go to school and they get educated, it's not to change the world, because this is still a man's world at the end of the day. When we go to school and we get educated, we can change ourselves. That's to come we're not on welfare anymore. That's to come a lot of us, we're not. The welfare queen trope is like not a thing. You'd be hard pressed to find a black woman that just lives off the government for a long, long time. Okay, a lot of us, we're not in deep poverty. We're not like 20,000 leagues below the poverty line anymore. We can buy our own houses, buy our own cars, eat what we want to eat. You know, we're not living off the government. That's what we change, and we don't have to wait for a rich man to give us that or do that for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say something too that IK said. She said, them as black women, or black women, can only do so much, right? They can only do so much. In order for true progress to happen in the black community, Stampitis, it has to be both sides. But what we see more often than not is a large percentage of men who, if they choose not to get educated, if they choose not to be better than average, or they're comfortable making only $30,000 or $40,000 a year, they double down on the lack of progressiveness or progression by insulting the women who choose to be a little bit more above average, who choose to get an education. And so it's like double the fire and flames against black women, because now they're trying to fight
all. She can never win for losing.
Yes, I mean, you're right. She's trying to fight every other race economically, and then she's fighting her own men as well, who are telling her that she shouldn't go to school and try and make more money and think about a career. So it's a double whammy. They're fighting an uphill battle that is massively sloped, far higher than other races of women by and large. You know, it's very tough, very tough. I want to read.
I'm gonna collectively call us Dusties, right? So what are we supposed to do? What are us Dusties supposed to do if the black women divest and get away from us?
Well, I think that divestment is a natural evolution of what black men and where black men have led the black community. I want to say this really quickly. Give me 1 second. Let me read these super chats. Thank you so much for everybody who's donating and contributing. But we're going back for the $5 super chat. She's coming. Oh, sorry, Stampitis. You know what time it is, Stampitis. The irony of Stampitis asking the question when he still hasn't married the mother of his child. Right. There we go. And then Self Love Heals with a $10 super chat says to answer Stamp's question, it's because the black community coddles failing black men. If a black woman is doing well but supporting Pookie, the community will fail. Black women have to hold failing black men accountable, and other black men have to hold failing black men accountable too, just as I held myself accountable. And just as I always talk about, and I know I talk about myself being dusty and this and that, but I'm serious about it too. I need to get my stuff together. I've said it before and I still need to. And I'll continue to echo that sentiment until I am on top and doing much better. And then in which case I'll start to hold other brothers even more accountable and then showing them how to get out of their dustiness, right? If they choose to ignore me, then I'm going to go harder on my message. I'll go harder and harder and harder because at that point I become the exact opposite of what I've been talking about. I become the epitome of a quote unquote high value. And for a black man to go against what a high value man is saying is literally the opposite of what Kevin Samuels preaches, right? That would literally be in contradiction to everything that they listen to, right? Everything that they listen to. So I want to read a couple more comments really quickly, and then I'll have a couple more people speak. But to answer your question, Stampitis, directly, it takes both sides. It's just that one side is fighting very aggressively against the other side. And the other side is a little bit tired and they're a little bit worn out, as they should be. As they should be. And I'll say this last thing, and I know I'm kind of ranting, but tell me how you honestly would feel if you were a black woman, right? If you were raised in an environment, if you were looking on TV and seeing other races of people living in better environments by and large in the same country that you're living in, if you had seen violence with your own hands with the men or from the men who look like you, who you're expected to procreate with and get into relationships with and things of that nature, how do you think that they're going to end up developing their emotions towards essentially what has been a bad experience within their own lives? You can't have bad experiences and then are still expected to come out on top, a joyous and happy person. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. If you have bad experiences, then most likely you're going to live life and think and have certain reactions based off of what caused those bad experiences. And so as a black woman, if you've had a lot of bad experiences with men and shootings in neighborhoods and crime, and then men making fun of your weave, and then men making fun of your weight, and then men doing this and men doing that, yeah, you're going to start to feel some type of way about the people that are giving you those bad experiences. That's just human nature, right? So a lot of the time we're expecting black women to somehow be their own psychologist, to somehow be their own hero in their participation for their own rescue, right? Which it's just too much to do. We're expecting too much of the black women when black men aren't giving them enough to work with. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. Lorraine with the $5 super chat says marriage is to a group of dusty men is not the prize over a life of comfort I can pretty much provide for myself. Absolutely. And I say this all the time. Why would a woman want to be a subservient slave, an indentured servant to a man who A, doesn't respect her, B, talks down about her and expects her to do so many different things and have so many different roles and chores just because she's a woman? And I want to say a couple of things. I read a couple of comments on some of the ladies on this channel who have left comments on their grandmothers and the state of their grandmothers and things of that nature. And one of the ladies said that her grandmother rejoiced when her grandfather died because her grandfather was expecting her to do everything in the house. He was abusive. She couldn't divorce him because back in the 60s, 70s, 50s, whatever it might have been, you just don't divorce. And so a lot of our grandparents who were housewives couldn't get a job because the men didn't want them to have a job. They expected them to only do one certain role or aspect in life. And as a result, the women started becoming pretty hateful of their position in life, right? But society had deemed that, okay, since you're a woman, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, right? And as a result, it left them giving a lot of knowledge and information and teachings to their daughters and grandchildren, right? And so I'll bring one of these comments up, but these teachings went along the lines of, hey, listen, don't try and rely on a man because I've had bad experiences, okay? Your grandfather treated me wrong, this, and that. And so these teachings, in some cases, have been passed down by generation to where we are now. At the end of the day, what's the common root cause of the problem? The common root cause of the problem was still a black man at the end of the day, right? And so we have to really take a step back and look at a lot of different facets of where we've gotten to the point of how we got to the point to where we are today, to really understand why Black women feel that the way that they feel. Because in a lot of cases, even when they were submissive, they weren't in the best or the happiest situation in their lives. I'll bring up the comment. I'll let a couple of other people speak, or I'll read a couple of comments, but I'll bring up the comment reading exactly what I read, just so y'all can understand and get a better sense of what I'm trying to say, because I butchered it. But when I read the comment, it was absolutely incredible. It was absolutely incredible, and it was sad at the same time. It was sad at the same time. Give me 1 second. Give me one. Guys, I'm gonna find this comment.
It's absolutely heartbreaking because no one should ever feel that they have to resign themselves to a toxic situation just because of their gender.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you are a woman or a man.
Absolutely.
No one should ever have to feel like that. And
Absolutely.
any woman and man out there who is in such a situation, regardless of what color you are, black, white, whatever, try to get yourself the heck out of there. You deserve better.
Let me read this comment. Let me read that comment that I was just telling y'all about. Siamese, perfectly said. Perfectly said. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. I got to zoom in, because if I don't zoom in, nobody will be able to see it. This is very telling, man. This is very telling. All right, let me share the screen. Share screen. Here we go. This was on the last stream we had, Kevin Scamul's Hates Black Women live stream. Of course, I just lost the comment, but it's at the top. The comment says this. I'm sure we can see. My grandmother's 96. My grandfather died when they were in their 40s. He wouldn't let her work. If she got a job, he'd make her quit. They had 7 kids. She had to endure suspicions of his cheating, etc. Recently, my grandmother was triggered by memories and tore up her living space while ranting about my grandfather's cheating. She had to endure it, and it broke her. So yes, it's true, our grandparents stayed together. But if our grandmothers could do things differently, they would have. No question. A lot of the times, and I think on the last stream, we had a gentleman say, well, look, and he brought up an example. Look how the women dressed in their 50s. Look at this. And they always stood together, and relationships were this and relationships were that. When it wasn't always the way that they make it out to be, right? This is why I don't let them say statistics all the time. This is why I don't let them just say whatever it might be. And in his case, I said, well, tell me what black man that you see walking around on a daily basis wears suits, by and large. In the 60s, they wore suits. They covered themselves with business attire. They were more professional. And of course, he said, well, no, none of them do. Very few black men wear suits, A, because very few black men aren't in corporate America, and B, because most black men just don't see wearing suits as something that's cool or trendy. One in particular does, the subject of most of our disagreements, right? It's such a rarity and oddity that his suit wearing has literally branded him, essentially, because it is an oddity to see a black man dressed nicely in a suit. We just don't see it that much. It's part of the reason why he did become popular. It's eye catching. It's, oh wow, black man in a suit. I don't see that often, right? So I want to say something really quickly. I'll let you go in 1 second, Jedi Mike. There was a comment that was responded back to this. The next comment said, my grandmother is 78. Let me pull this up. My grandmother is 78. She had to endure my grandfather beating her up and cheating on her. They never divorced. He died at 55 years old, and she celebrated. She remained single by choice despite many marriage offers by other gentlemen. I already endured enough men, is what she told me. ... Okay? This is why I always say we really need to take a step back and look at what's really going on beneath the surface. So many people don't hear stories like this, and then when we bring stories like this to attention, they seem to believe that this is just the minority. The problem is that when we do bring stories like this to attention, it directly combats the narrative that the Manosphere wants to spew, which is that women need to go back to the 60s and 50s and things of that nature. This is why I talk about Kevin Scamul's being a slave owner or a slave master, a representative of a KKK Klansman, Grand Prince, or Grand Wizard, or whatever the heck they are. Because a lot of the things that he's saying directly align with the slave mentalities that our grandmothers went through, and that our great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents went through as well. And these comments are indicative of that. It's just that most of the men in the Manosphere, don't even care about these comments, but when they see these comments, it has little to no effect on them, and they choose to believe that somehow the woman did something wrong to get slapped, or she or the husband was really a good husband and she was just complaining, right? Whatever it might be. That's the true danger and the sadisticness of, if that's even the word, of the manosphere. $5 super chat from. Go ahead.
Who do you blame for the outcomes of these kids, right? Turning into shooters, robbers, rapists, etc., like that. In these
I'll answer that once. I'll answer that one second.
Man, homie.
I'll answer.
What you mean?
Alexander, spot on. Alexander, spot on. Let me answer it 1 second, Evie, and I'll let you finish the question. Let me just get these $5 super chats. Are these super chats? Kiana Fault says they never say what the advantage is for women, and I can't. This thing is blocking it. And women in relationships with them, it's always you're supposed to be happy only to make them happy. Absolutely. As if a woman's only job in life is to make the man happy, to worship the man, to worship the ground he walks on. And I've said this before in other podcasts. If black men were doing much better by and large, then maybe I could understand a bit of the sentiment and hate that they have for black women. But that's just not the case, right? That's just not the case. So I can't go for that. Another $30 super chat. Another $30 super chat from Melinda, 1973. Melinda, thank you. She says, years ago, I was fretting about not being married, and a black woman in her 90s told me your degree is your husband. Be glad you have it, she said. Wow. She said she shoveled with a splinter dealing with her cheating husband. She wanted an education. Very telling. Very telling. Very telling. I often speak about how backwards it is for black men to hate on women with the education. But once again, we brought up points, and this brings up the point that a lot of the reasons why black men hate black women getting education is because they lose the control that they have over the woman. They lose the control. Black men control very little in America, and so what they feel like they should be able to control by default, they go extra hard for. Evie, I'll get back to your question, okay? And what Melinda 73 said is a pure example of that. The reason why slave masters didn't want the slaves to get educations is because ultimately they would have lost a bit of control over their mind, their mentality. They would have lost some of the blind, willful following that they might have had because there was power in knowledge. There was power in education. That's why when they saw a slave reading, they cut their hands off, or they cut their legs off, or they tortured them, or they beat them to death, because they knew the power in education. They knew that in modern day society, the ones who are most educated are the ones who are going to make the most money. Money is power. Make no mistake about it. So the best way for them to control the slaves was to keep education out. And even until the 60s and 70s, what's the last thing that they wanted to give black people? It was desegregation or good education. They made black people free before they decided to go ahead and give black people public schooling or good schooling. And so when black men go against and call women with PhDs masculine or this or that, it's pure slave master KKK white supremacist talking points. You can call me a panderer all you want, but this is the facts. This is how slaves were conquered essentially for the longest period of time, because they didn't know how to write. They couldn't write messages saying, hey, meet me here at this time so we can build an escape or things of that nature. They knew if they knew how to read letters that they could start to form coalitions against the slave masters. They could start to form militias. They could start to form cohesive thought and unity amongst the words. This is why I fight so hard against
form of conquer.
Absolutely.
The control of the mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Siamese.
Isn't that what Orwell warned us about?
I have to take your word for it. I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Let me go ahead and go really quickly. Thank you. Siamese is someone you see on Jeopardy, and they would like answer all the questions. You'd be like, golly, $45,000. Siamese, you are smart. Jedi Mike, thank you for your patience. Evie, we'll get back to your question. I haven't forgotten about it. Jedi Mike, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, one thing I just wanted to add is that when I keep hearing about who's a person's responsibility, if you gotta go into the Bible, not to make this kind of a Christian thing, but this in Luke, they talk about a person who sows sparingly is also reap sparingly. And the thing about that is about what is actually the fathers actually sowing into their children, and especially to the boys. And the answer is really a lot. Well, in most cases, not, because the father's not even there to begin with. And what you have is that going to lack of the image of that that young boys look after, that they model. That's why they look into the athletes, they look into the rappers, because that thing, though, that's what I'm supposed to be, and unfortunately it's like it's this fast money but has no sustainability, because like that's like 1 in a million saying that you're modeling yourself after an NBA player or a rapper,
Right.
but you're not imaging yourself over someone's stability, like like electrician or a welder or a doctor, lawyer, or something like that. Those things that have stability that actually admire me. But the thing of that is that it presents a challenge to the person, and the statistic of talking about how fathers not being there when young black males go into secondary school and their reading levels not 1, not 2, but 3 years below their grade level. As fathers, you say like, I can't have this. If I'm gonna have my seed be out there and stuff like that, I'm gonna have him make sure that he can take care of himself. But that's the problem, is consistency. That's what lacking in. And also, I just want to make the message to, when we're talking about the disagreements or the hate comments, talk about this on the points that some other content creators want to make. Disagreement does not equal you being a modern woman. Disagreement does not equal you being a masculine woman. You disagreeing with necessary options as a woman, that's not making you modern or not making you masculine. That's making you say, I have standards that I'm not going to be taken advantage of like that. Or having someone saying, well, I want someone that can provide and be the leader, or have high character, not just high value, or, and think about having the ambition of saying, I'm not going to take complacency as the standard, because that's the thing, or not having ambition. A man without ambition is a lost man. And saying as a father is like, I'm okay if my son doesn't go to college. Not saying college is the answer, but at least saying making sure that you have purpose and progress going there. At least as a father, that you have a responsibility to put instilling that to your child. For example, if I've never been to college, my son's gonna go to college. Okay, my son got his bachelor's, then my grandson gonna get his master's. That's how it's gonna go. And I'm saying that complacency has become the new standard for the black man, and our responsibility of changing that is that changing from complacency being the standard, and the standard should be consistency and accountability, not complacency.
Absolutely. Fire, Mike. Absolute fire. So well said. Welcome to the only chocolate angel for becoming a channel member. I said I was going to drop the boating fishing trip. I've been so busy, y'all, but I promise for the channel members, I'll be dropping the vlog of me going down and fishing. I'd also just like to give you a hint and a tip. White Claw is a lot stronger than you think it is. Those little White Claw drinks that everybody's ranting and raving about, those things are strong. I could barely fish because I had too many White Claws. I think I only had 3 or 4 of them. Very tough. Tiffany, I appreciate the donations. Guys, you don't have to. Wow, what country are you in, Tiffany? Just to ask you, what country are you in? She says she can't super chat from her country. I didn't know super chat was only for certain countries. I see that we might be lagging a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. We might be lagging, so forgive me. My internet connection. Oh, God. I didn't plug it in. My internet connection is dusty right now, so hold on one second. Plug in my Ethernet cord, and we're going to go to the next question. All right. Sorry about that lag. Thank you to everybody who's donated and become a channel member. Y'all mean the world. Next question here. Oh, I'm sorry, Evie. I didn't answer your question fully. So, Evie, who is? Yeah, you're not kidding, Shui. I was in a bad situation on that boat. Trust me. Who is responsible for the black kids becoming shooters and things of that nature? Everything that you said. I'll tell you who's responsible. Okay. Once again, it's the leaders. It's the leaders of the community. All right. I've said this a million times, and I'm not going to go into the full metaphorical analogy of the coach and the Super Bowl team losing. All right. But if you're going to be a leader, Evie, if you're going to want women to follow you, then you're going to have to accept responsibility when the community fails. Okay. So if you're the leader, you're going to bear brunt of the responsibility. Okay. That's just the way it goes. If you're on a sales team, and you don't meet your sales quota and everybody misses the sales quota, they're going to ask the manager, what happened? Why'd you guys miss quota? And then the manager's going to come down to the workers and say, what's going on, guys? Y'all are making me look bad. Okay. So the head of command, or the chain of command, goes from the top to the very bottom. If you're going to put yourself at the top, you got to be willing to answer to the board of directors. You got to be willing to answer to the statistics. That's just the nature of the game. And so even I get what your point is. Your point is trying to say, well, it's the women who are raising the kids. That's not going to cover it in this case. That's not going to cover it, because if you want the women to follow you and follow under your lead, then the man who is leaving the women or creating the children with the women, or who are wanting the women to follow them, are going to have to take that hit. That's just the nature of the game. That's the nature of the beast. Okay.
What if you want to be in your child's life and the woman doesn't want you to be in her life?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I get that. I understand that happens. Okay, I completely get that happens.
How is that our fault? How is
Right.
that our fault?
And listen, that's not necessarily your fault, Evie. I'm not saying that that's your fault if the woman decides to hold the kid against you. Okay. What I will say, Evie, is that that doesn't happen that much, but it does happen. Yes, I get that it happens. I know that there are jealous and envious women who seek to literally try and destroy your life. Here's the problem, Evie, okay? Is that at the end of the day, it's still your choice to have made that child. Okay, so you still do bear some responsibility, man. She didn't just RAPE you. Okay, and so the system of child support and this and that, it is only an accountability system based off of the actions and the choices you made. Was she possibly a good woman in the past? Yeah, she might have been a great woman. You might not have seen the true grievances that she has in her closet. You might not have known the skeletons that she had. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. All I'm saying is that situations happen. However, all right, ignorance of the law is no excuse for negligence of the law. What do I mean when I say that? An officer told me this when he pulled me over one time. He said, "Sir, do you know how fast you were going?" I was like, "No, I didn't see the speed limit. I didn't think, I don't know. I don't know how fast I was going. I thought it was 75 on this highway." He said, "No, we just changed it to 60. I said, "Well, it's always been 75. And he was like, "Well, you should have checked up on it. You should have stayed read on your laws. Ignorance is no excuse for negligence." So I got a ticket. All right. Technically, I thought that 75 was okay. And so me doing 85 wasn't a problem. But that day I got a ticket for 25 hours. So what am I saying? Was it right? Was I really wrong for getting that ticket? Was I really in the wrong? No, I thought something differently. However, the system accountability is still going to be and hold me accountable irregardless, right? Because that's just the nature of the game. I still got to pay that ticket. Everybody knows, particularly men in the Manosphere, EV, know what happens when you make a kid. They know the dangers of child support. They know the dangers of going through all kinds of hell by baby mamas. We joke about this in the Black community, right? We joke about this, and other communities joke about it as well, right? Having a horrible baby mama or whatever it might be, right? So everybody knows the possibility of what could happen. At this point, there's still truly no excuse for you to get caught into a bad situation with bringing a child into the world, because as much as they talk about it in the Manosphere, as much as you guys always disparage Black women for being baby mamas and this and that, and then try and tell these horror stories, who you should try and hold more responsible and accountable are the men who have heard these stories a million times but still find themselves in a bad situation. Like I said, this doesn't happen all the time, right? But I mean, how many times are we going to tell a guy be careful and then a guy still get in trouble, right? I'm glad, bro.
I have one more thing to say.
You know,
hold on. Can I?
I have one more. No, I have one. Let me say something. I have a quick more things to say.
Okay.
You don't. There's high single motherhood rates in other communities, not as much the Black community, but you don't see that the woman raising, shooters and robbers and people people of this caliber as much as the Black community. So I'm gonna say that. And second, a lot of these women, they like to complain about Black men. They're all terrible and stuff like that. A lot of these women, I feel, have a lot of emotional insecurities, things that haven't worked out in their past, and they're trying to put a lot of these emotional insecurities onto Black men. They're trying to put a lot of their baggage on Black men. They haven't gotten over some of the things in their past. Okay, the same thing with Black men who are trying to put their insecurities onto Black women. Right? They can't move on from the past and stuff. They're trying to blame Black men for the reason why maybe they're not as pretty or as good looking as they should be or as they want to be.
Right.
Know?
Okay. So
that's just my opinion.
Okay. Good question there.
That's it.
I appreciate that question. We'll get to that in 1 second, Evie. Melinda, I'm going to put you on mute for 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Loren, what did you want to say to Evie before we moved on? Really quickly, also, Kier, thank you for the $20 super chat, Kier. I always love having you and your cartoon voice on the panel. I love it. So hope you can come up one of these times. Kay says she can't super chat either. Wow, I didn't know that, y'all. I didn't know that. Thank you for the support anyway. Loren, what did you have to say to Evie?
I just wanted to say first, because I there's always the blaming of the raising of the child, on how the child turned out. And I don't know how come men aren't aware of this, but your absence in a child's life is just as present as your presence would have been had you been there. Okay. Every time you weren't there to discipline him, he felt it. Every time you weren't there for a birthday, every game you missed, he felt it. He sees it. He compares his life to other kids' lives that have fathers. Your absence is very much present, and it's a part of who they are as they grow up. And a lot of the times the boys do come up and they get very violent. They join gangs. There's no male leadership. I don't know what makes men think women know how to always raise these well-adjusted young men, because it's a two-party system. It doesn't work. It doesn't work one way. If we were able to do it, we probably wouldn't need you to get us pregnant. We'd probably be able to impregnate ourselves somehow. But it's a two-party system, and it doesn't work any other way. Both parents have to be there. That gives the kid the best possible chance. So putting it all off like, well, the mother must have raised her son to be a murderer, or the mother raised her son to go rob a bank, is like, you raised him too. You raised him as much as you were like off doing whatever you were doing. You were raising him too. You probably didn't see it or didn't, see it that way, or you didn't look at it like that. But no, your absence was raising him just as much as the mother was.
Absolutely. So well said. So well said. And something else I want to kind of add, Evie. Go ahead, Jedi.
That's it. I really don't think so, because you're not the child. You're not letting the father be in the child's life.
That's not always the case. That's not always the case. You're not always not let.
That's a lot of the cases. That's
not a lot of the cases. That's the scapegoat. That's the scapegoat. You're not always let. It's not about let's. No, it's not. A lot of the cases. A lot of y'all are just
women are young. They're emotional.
Hold on, Evie. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Lorena. Okay. Well, Evie, go ahead. And finish up really quickly, Evie. Finish up really quickly.
These women are young and emotional, and they don't see the future, the bigger prize here, and how you're fucking up.
So Evie, let me ask you a question, and then I'll let Jedi Mike ask you something. Melinda, you can go after Jedi Mike. Melinda, we'll let you go in 1 second. Evie, do you have any friends that have children right now?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, so your one friend that has children, is his baby mother holding the child against him right now?
No, they have. It looks like they have a pretty stable relationship.
All right, Evie. I rest my case, Evie. I mean, so this is what I'm talking about, though, Evie. I mean, this is the problem with the manosphere: is men who haven't even lived these experiences somehow vicariously put themselves in these experiences and take the trauma from experiences that other men are living. Live your own life and look for your own two eyes what's going on around you. I can tell you everything, but you've even seen it in your own with your own experience and own two personal eyes, Evie, that's not the case with your own friend. I'm telling you that this isn't the case by and large. This is not the case. Does it happen sometimes? Yes. By and large, no, Evie. It's just not the case, man. Really quickly, Jedi Mike.
How is it possible that you even have that strong of an opinion when all you know is one person with a kid? So where are you getting all this opinion from? If I would assume that you know a whole lot of people who must have experienced it. I know a lot of people. I'm not a single mother, but I know a lot of people that are raising single mothers, and they try desperately to get their fathers in their kids' lives because they know how important it is. It's not about them trying to hold the kid over their head. That's not a common situation.
Well, let me say. I know one kid my age. I have other older people who are talking to me about how they're.
But it's not your lived experience. Clearly, it's not your lived experience. You're just in this space. No. Because you're in this space, which is full of poisonous gas, and it's infecting you.
Hold on, Evie.
Hold on. You.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, Evie. Is that it's affecting you even though you haven't experienced this for yourself. Let me read some super chats, and then I got to go on to Melinda and Jedi Mike. $5 super chat from the deadbeat dad says a woman can't keep a dedicated father from his children. Stop the BS. No excuses, fellas. This is true. This is so true. If you go through the proper court system, the judges, and guess what? The judges even know what's going on most of the time. Guys, I see that there's some lag in the background. So we'll try and get that cut out. And sorry about that. But the judges know what's going on. If in those rare occurrences when the woman is trying to just spite the father's name, the judge looks at morale and character, and they take everything into account. Judges are pretty smart. They're pretty smart people. They understand what's going on. But moreover, even if they hold on a second, because we have to go to other people. I want Melinda to speak at Mike. Just 1 second. Judges understand what's going on. All right. They're not dumb. They're not hip to the fact. They're very fair most of the time. Very rarely will you have a corrupt judge that just 1000% is a feminist that sides with a woman. It just doesn't happen that much. $10 super chat from Wild Regal TV. He says men are free to fight for joint custody or proper visitation rights. I know men who pick up and drop off their kids from daycare on set days of the week. They never have to see the children's mothers. Absolutely. The court is designed for this at this point. They've seen enough of these cases where they're like, okay, you know what? Let's get this together, right? It's not the 80s or the 70s anymore. You know, this isn't a new concept. They're pretty well versed in child, I guess you could say, separation, if you will. Lovey X with the $5 super chat says a lot of these men don't even fight for their kids in court and then just cry that they don't ever get to see their kids in custody. Absolutely. Just accept their fate. I've seen that as well, too. And a lot of them don't have the ability to maybe do as much as they would like to approve financially in certain, because guess what? It does take you being able to prove financially that you have the means, that you have the domicile or residence, and you have the ability for the kids to have the equal, I guess you could say, upbringing on both sides of the fence. So by default, the kids are going to stay with the mother. In order for them to give you some partial custody, you're going to have to show that you're on your game, which is why a lot of black men have such a hard time in child support, because the judge is going to say, okay, what are you driving? Are your licenses? Are your ducks in a row? Do you have a job? Are you paying taxes? And for a lot of black men, when you're talking about 40% conviction rates, that's going to be a problem when you start talking about getting custody of your child and of your kid, right? This is just the nature of the beast. Right. So
can I say something real quick? I
have to read this last super chat. I have to cut you off right now because I know Melinda needs to speak and Jedi needs to speak. He needs to go. So Ken with the $10 super chat says, THT, can you ask Stamp if it's okay for his girlfriend to have a job or education? And does he? Yeah, I'll ask him right now. He just heard that. Stamp, is it okay for your girlfriend to have her own job and education?
Yeah, I actually encourage it. She's going for a master's right now. She's more educated than I am, so I encourage it. Well, she tells me all the time that she doesn't really want to work, but I leave it up to her. So
good man. Well, I hope that you know most of your, and I know you don't agree completely with Manosphere, but most of your Manospheric brothers would call her masculine for going to get her master's degree, right? They would call her masculine. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see the internet is having a hard time keeping up tonight. Internet is doing bad.
It rained and poured all day over here, practically.
Well, forgive me, y'all. Siamese is kind of the same way. It looks like we have an electrical storm. We'll be in and out, but refresh the page if you have to, if you see us buffering, and we'll try and do the best that we can today. I didn't set it up correctly, and so now I'm paying for it. Jedi, just give me 1 second. I want to let Melinda talk. Melinda, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for your donations, and you are free to speak. Go ahead. Melinda, are you there?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
Okay, hey, great. Hey, everybody. Hey, I wanted to make a few points. First, with one of the last super chat I put in that I made, when I said that the elderly lady said that she shoveled, with a splinter. Basically, what that means is she put up with a lot. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who was just speaking. I hear a little bit of feedback, so just make sure that you're not watching on YouTube, Melinda, and that you're actually just watching inside of the StreamYard.
Oh, dang. Oh.
It's okay. No worries.
Okay, how about now?
Okay. I still hear it a bit, but I'll let you go ahead. The floor is yours.
I'll keep my phone real still. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
What I wanted to say was, I'm like a lot older than most of the people in the chat and on the panel. So I remember back in the days of like the MGTOW movement. Most of these were kind of the white guys with MGTOW and their spaces. What I noticed was, and I pretty much agreed with their plight. Most of these guys are married men who married a woman, taking care of their kids. A marriage didn't work, and they were railroaded through the court system and family courts. I understood that. So, but then later on, what I noticed was Black men kind of tucked themselves into those spaces and kind of tried to copy them, but didn't really tailor it to fit the black black culture. And what I mean by that is child support in the black community. Black women were told not to file child support on a black man. Black men were very much protected and sheltered from a woman doing that. It just went against everything you did to file child support on a black man. So that didn't even apply to black men. So when I see them trying to go into these spaces and pretend that they have the same issues as lots of these other men do, it's disingenuous. And I've noticed that it's like it's a whole different culture. So I wanted to say that. And what else? I think that was it. So I'm sorry that I was having trouble with my system over here.
Oh no, it's all of us tonight. It's not just you. I'll put you on mute for a second. You're always free to speak. Just unmute yourself and have the floor, Melinda. We appreciate your contributions and everybody who's done it. Y'all, I can't tell you how thankful I am for y'all. I really can't. I think those are some great points there, right? It was socially unacceptable in the black community to, put your man on child support. You would get ridiculed for that, right? You get ridiculed for that. So I'm glad that you said that, Melinda. That was a serious truth bomb. Jedi, you've been waiting. Go ahead.
Yes. There's one thing that I wanted to respond to the brother about, like the argument that you're making. That's like, it's a strong man argument. It's saying, well, why do I mess with these black women? Well, because they'll take advantage of using child against me and all that stuff. Why do I want to go to get married because I'm afraid of getting run through the divorce court system? That's the same argument of saying, man, I don't want to start a business because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose money, which is a risk. You have to understand relationships itself is a risk. However, when you have that mentality, you will never be successful. I can tell you with that mentality, you will never be married or never have a woman up like that will actually be the woman that you claim you want to be. And I'm just saying that is a strongman argument. And plus, you have to understand talking about what are we actually doing to children, what the mothers are doing to children or the father. You have to understand, as a man being a leader, a great leader is a person who has a plan of visualizing attack. If you're a general and this is war, you go in there, you go into the battleground, you say, hey guys, all right, free for all, go ahead, haul ass and all that stuff. I can tell you at the end of that battle, that dude be having a white flag. And then I don't want to go to I don't want to go on airplanes because I'm afraid snakes might be there, because I just saw snakes on a plane and Sam Jackson might not be there. It's just it's a false argument. It's just a strong man. And I'm saying that 9/11 just happened, and that's why you have a vetting process of going through different security checks. So when you saying you're for your sake, well, I see this stuff like these women being this emotional or anything like that, and you claim the same be, then guess what? As a man, if I'm put in a position, I can tell you that I have enough vetting process in the beginning stages of a relationship. That's where I'm most of my critical, because a lot of men are not really intentional with relationships. And so if I have the intentionality of saying, like, listen, I'm gonna spend necessary time, that I'm not rushing to get this woman pregnant, but first, not even rushing to get a ring on her finger, which most men won't actually have that mentality, of that, and that's why you're saying you're screwed. And so when you have that intentionality, saying, listen, I'm gonna be the most critical as I am beginning stages in relationships. I know that if this woman, when we engage in sex and stuff, and she bears my seed, I'm like, if this woman be not only be my wife, be the mother of my child, and you can't answer that question, then you shouldn't have been with her in the first place. And I'm going to tell you, if you just want to screw around, go screw around and accept the consequences. And having the vetting process and having the intentionality with the woman is just basically the goal that black men, on the other hand, should be if they claim to be great leaders.
Absolutely. It's so well said, Jedi Mike. Life is in and out of itself a gamble. It's a risk. If you want to start a business, if you want to take hard classes to get a certain degree, everything we do to some extent is a calculated risk and a gamble. The goal of it is to try and mitigate your losses or mitigate the amount of risk to ensure that you come out on the best or the more favorable end every time that you roll the dice, right? But if everybody always had this mentality that, oh, don't do anything because I've seen this happen in one part of Yugoslavia, then no businesses would exist. No inventions would exist. Everything that we use just for our day-to-day comforts and amenities, somebody had to risk putting their time, money, resources into to create, not knowing if it would work or fail. If you live that life like Jedi Mike,
the vacuum sweeper.
Just like, okay, perfect, Siamese, thank you. And it's a perfect analogy and metaphor that Jedi Mike used. It's like you can't go through life all the time worried about what if and what if. Instead, make sure that you prepare yourself as much as you can for the risks that might occur for the consequences that could occur from the choices that you make. If you do that, most of the time you'll come out in a more favorable condition and situation. All right, that's the name of the game. Right, it's the name of the game. I love that comment. I love that comment there. Let's go back to our Kevin Scamio's hating comments right here. Let's go back to our Kevin Scamio's hating comments. Spitting hot fire. Absolutely, absolutely. The red line says, "Get these M and F and snakes off this M and F and plane." I saw that. I couldn't pull it up. Y'all are insane. All right, let's go back to this comment here. Back to our screenshot. Appreciate y'all for participating. You know, I always say this isn't going to be a long stream, and then 4 hours later we're here still, right? I'm trying to work on that. Loren's laughing. I've been so bad about that. The most I said it was in our 6.5 hour long stream. I was like, this is going to be a short stream, guys. 6.5 hours later, somebody left a comment saying that same thing. I thought it was funny. Adrian Rice has decided to leave a comment on the page. He says, I don't think you or your listeners have watched enough. Once again, here we go with the grammatical errors again. I don't think you or your listeners have watched enough of Kevin Samuel's content. It's a poor representation of what he's saying. Seems like you're judging based on the viral clips. LOL. I think a lot of men would agree with some of the things Loren said. I literally don't know what side of the fence he's falling on in this case. He says that a lot of men would agree with what Loren is saying, and Loren
I'm
pretty much
totally lost. I'm trying to think about what I even said in that stream.
This is I'm not even sure, but obviously he'd be saying something that we'd be saying here, which he would naturally disagree with because he's saying that we don't listen to Kevin Samuel's content enough. And so I don't know. Most of the time, and I told y'all that when they insult me, I try and I have to put together the insult because I don't understand what they're even trying to say to begin with. And this is just another yet classic example of me trying to fumble my way through an insult here to try and put it together for them. Let's move on to the next one here. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, we have the classic simp shaming of Russell Wilson. Red Pill Reloaded said this, right? Red Pill Reloaded said this. Russell is a simp because he's being led by Sierra and he puts her on a pedal stall. Y'all think I'm truthful. The grammatical errors and the men that come to try and debate me are like next level. He puts her on a pedal stall.
It would probably make my grandfather shocked, and he was an English major.
Thank you, Siamese. Whereas Russell should have the leadership role, and she should be grateful another man is willing to take on the burden of another man's seed. Once again, no accountability for future. It's all Russell Wilson's fault because he enjoys, he compliments, he loves his woman. God forbid a man love a woman, right? But instead, he puts her on a pedestal. I could stop this there, but these are the types of comments, and these are the types of people that go against what I say and what we say on this channel.
Can I say something?
No smoke for future, but all the smoke for Russell. Go ahead, Alexander.
Here's the thing. See, me and my dad, we had a tour around where he used to live at, and and almost all of where he used to live has been taken over by white people, and some of them are in interracial relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to his old school AC floor, and it's not the same as it was when he was going to school. And we also went to Creighton, where he used to go to middle school, and it's also not the same. So did Russell go back and invest into the schools? Well, actually, I'm in South Carolina, but the point is, my dad said there is no black community, and if he had the money based on what he's seeing, he wouldn't. I mean, he would like to invest, but he sees the same thing we all are seeing. Black men ain't doing nothing. They letting the white man take over.
Well, Alexander, you bring up a good point there, Alexander. We're going to talk about that in some other streams, but you bring up a good point there. We'll get back to that, Alexander. You hold that thought, okay? I want to share another comment This man names himself Black Jesus, and he had something to say. All right, let's look at what Black Jesus had to say. Black Jesus says this. Black Jesus, all right. Ah, yes, when you can't argue someone's point, you go straight to slander and shaming tactics. Y'all's channels wouldn't be recognized without Kevin Scamios. Uh, it's mind numbing because he tries to make it seem like if Kevin Scamios didn't exist, that the Black community would somehow be in a much better place, and that somehow my talking points wouldn't be validated or relevant in any sort of way. And that's just not the case. Regardless of whether or not Kevin Scamios existed, I most likely still at some point or another would speak and say the things that I say, right? Because I didn't get my talking points from Kevin Scamios. I got my talking points from women like Christy or Shira. I'm not even sure. Whoever started the dustiness thing, that's what ended up hitting me and waking me up. Nothing Kevin Scamios said made me start saying the things that I'm saying now. The fact that I talk about Kevin Scamios as much as I do only is only relevant because unfortunately a very large percentage of the internet community and soon to be Black male demographic and population feel the same way he feels, and that's why I talk about him. But regardless of whether or not Kevin Scamios' YouTube channel disappeared off the face of the planet today or not, does not change the position that Black men are in. So my points of contention aren't with Kevin Scamios necessarily. Still, they're based on the facts of the lack of progress and prosperity of Black men in the Black community. Aside from that, everything that I say on this channel does argue directly to the points and statistics that men like Black Jesus like to stand behind. I go into depth on my arguments, and there are a few others that do the same, but I pride myself on knowing exactly where to pinpoint the weaknesses in the argument and then bringing clarity and light to the lies that they tell. I don't just use slander and shaming tactics by and large, Black Jesus. That's something that Kevin Scamios uses by and large. But of course, it's okay when Kevin uses it, right? But if I decide to actually put truth or a KKK hat on him and then back up the reason why I put a KKK hat on it, then it's slander, right? Because it's only slander when somebody disagrees with what you're saying. Other than that, it's the truth, of course. I'd expect nothing less out of Black Jesus. Whatever the obsession with religion is for these men, I'll never understand. I'll never understand. For these guys to be so religious based and religious oriented and yet bear so much hatred in their heart is yet another level of cognitive dissonance that I'll never quite get, but that's what it is. That's what it is. We're going to go on to a couple more questions. We don't have too many here, and this might not be that long of a live today. I might actually hold true to that, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all 200 and something odd people for sticking with us. It's really good to have y'all here. I know we have a couple of the haters in the background. I invited the panel for the haters to come to the stream and speak with me directly. I think Evie showed up, and he's not even necessarily a hater. He's willing to admit some things are the truth of what I say. He has his position, but he's willing to listen. But the other ones that were staunchly against me, I didn't see any of them. I give you the chance to come up, guys, and really expose me or say whatever you want to. The only person that ended up saying anything that was actually truthful, coincidentally, was one of our own ladies, right? And I'm so thankful for that. I have nothing against truth. I will continue to fully support the truth, and I'll always continue to fully support Loren. That brings me to my next point. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you shop at uniqueboutiquecandles.com. I'm just getting ready to place my next order. I think this will be my second order with uniqueboutiquecandles.com. The new line is out, and be on the lookout for our new promotions. I'll be dropping in the community tab. You are not going to want to miss it. A lot of you, or some of you, have been going and shopping and realizing the secret that uniqueboutiquecandles.com has on their site. Money well invested. Try it out. If you think I'm lying, then tell me I'm lying, and I'll pay for your candles for you. Just give me an email. But I guarantee that once you buy one, they won't be the last. Once you pop the fun, don't stop, so they say. uniqueboutiquecandles.com. A couple more of these hateful comments here, and then we're going to kind of move on to our final closing points of discussion, because really I just wanted this stream to be a truth revelation type stream. All right, truth revelation and a hater expose. Cynical Skeptic says KS hates Black women. Clutching his pearls. KS hates Black women by telling them to take their physical and mental health more serious. Don't give a deadbeat a baby and start setting your marital goals earlier in life. Right. So this goes back to the earlier point that I had, where KS likes to mask a lot of these points that he has in hatred and things of that in that nature. He tries to make it seem like he's really for the black women, but in reality, he's not. Because in the same breath, he's also the man that's telling black women that you need to get with the man or have consensual sex with the man within the first 3 dates, and don't be upset if he decides not to date you if he's a high value man, because you need to be giving it up, right? He's also the one that tells black women that they need to stay with the man that cheated on them because you've been married for this long, and a high value man has more propensity, is more likely to cheat on you, right? And so you can't say that you're for black women and then say things that are against black women in the same breath. That's not how this works, cynical skeptic. All right. That's what you call cognitive dissonance. That's what you call contradiction, which is what Kevin Samuel's channel is full of. All right. So those pieces of advice in and out of themselves, I think, are good pieces of advice. Also, pieces of advice that men should follow as well. Take your physical and mental health more serious. All right. It's not all about Jordans. It's not all about PPP loans, right? Don't give a baby to a woman if you're going to become a deadbeat, okay? The same advice you like to give to women could be applied for men as well. And once both sides of the community start doing that, moreover, the men start holding other men accountable at a higher rate, the women will essentially start doing the same thing. But it's always going to be on the leaders. The leaders bear the brunt of the responsibility. Once again, black men expecting black women to be the moral authority of the community while demanding that they follow them, the unmoral authority of the community. Cognitive dissonance.
Somebody pointed out that KS Scamuels has something that moves a lot on his podcast. They say it almost has a hypnotizing effect. A little thing on his table. I don't quite know what it is, but it moves around a lot. Somebody pointed that out.
It's a spinning clock. It originates from Iron Man 2. It's just like a clock, basically a clock or anything like that. Not really meant to hypnotize, but yeah.
Okay.
But I suppose it could, though, couldn't it? With its repetitive movement.
I think that's great.
Kind of like you're doing this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. The hypnotizing. You are getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy. Yeah, maybe that's the secret, huh?
That sometimes sounds like clapping or.
Well, it's not working on me. I'm not getting hypnotized. I can't even listen. It just annoys me.
Sorry, I'm overdue for a fill here.
Oh no, you're fine, Siamese. I like the way that your mind works. Oh, one second, Alexander. I just want to get to a couple more here, Alexander, and we'll kind of have some closing words here in a little bit. I'll read some of the comments and kind of catch up with you guys really quickly. Organic Black says, "Can I drop the link again?" Yes, I can drop the link again. I'll drop the link again. This will be the last time, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to hop onto the panel, there is the link one more time. Self-Love Heals. And anybody else who wants to, you are more than welcome. Let's read this one really quickly here. This is one that I think we haven't covered as much in depth, and one that a lot of the, I guess you could say, well-to-do brothers might feel like they can take a part of in this kind of comment here. He says, "You're pandering. The typical black women don't want you because you are very articulate, seem to be educated, which is corny to them. Now, if you got some money, you might have a shot until the next one with swag pulls up." Now, we know that black women are more educated than black men, and the numbers show that, right? And so black women do value education, okay? They do value education. We know this to be true. I think a lot of the time, what might happen is that maybe a young brother who is educated in the community grows up in a part of the community or experiences some form of hate or, nerd hatred or whatever it might be from black people. Maybe it is from a woman. And then they tend to harbor that for their entire lives, and so that starts to fester and this and that. And then they get into that rage cycle that we kind of spoke about earlier, right? A lot of these guys get into this rage cycle, right? I can tell you that as an educated black man, I've had no problem with women of any race, all right? Now, I think that other things have some things to do with it. Maybe looks, maybe this, maybe that. But in and out of itself, Loving Holmes, I'll let you go in 1 second. In and out of itself, I never had a woman directly to my face say, "Oh, you're way too lame or nerdy or whatever it might be. Now, society as a general or as a whole did make fun of nerds for a while, so that's not just a black thing in this case. Nerds faced ridicule in white communities, in every other community except for probably Asian communities, right? Where they want their children to be nerds, and it's just kind of a stereotype, right? And we make fun of that. We joke about that. But nerds have never just been in the best public light and image for any community, for any race, right? So I think that that's important to say, but make no mistake about it. The ones who do well for themselves, the nerds, quote unquote, have no problem with women. All right. The nerds more than likely are highly educated, more educated, which leads to more money. And that leads to a better quality of life overall. Okay.
Honest, can I please answer that really quickly? Because it's just important. Because it's just one of those things that Kevin Samuels does where he paints black women out to be special or different or completely separate from any other regular woman that, like, we don't do things that other women do. No woman really likes a corny guy. Whatever corny is to you, no women don't like corny guys. It's only a woman's nature to go for the most alpha male. It's not about like, well, we don't like corny men. No woman wants the corniest man if the alpha is right there. So like this like segregation into like, oh, we just hate on any man that's different. Yeah, well, a lot of women do that.
Right. And I think it's important to kind of, designate what is alpha or really define what is alpha. I'm going to take, well, we have space now. Whoever's trying to join, you can join now. Somebody just dropped off. Listen, the nerd who is making X amount of dollars, who starts a software startup company in LA and does well for himself, the high level nerds, hey, listen, man. They're alpha. Their personality might not seem alpha. They may seem goofy or lame to you, but you can only be so goofy and lame when you pull up in a Ferrari, or you pull up in a BMW M series, or you pull up in a Porsche. They are in a very elite alpha economic group, right? Some women might not like that. Some women have no problem getting with a guy like that. Everybody's different, okay? But alpha isn't necessarily just tall, strong, masculine. Now, yes, the tall, strong, masculine, and good looking, that is biologically and evolutionarily hardwired into our DNA. However, there is something to be said for those who are financially doing well, for the bosses, right? They have no problems in life, okay? And I say this to say men like Bill Gates or whatever it might be, the really rich and well-off guys, they're not hurting, man. They have no problem with women. Okay. So everybody likes different things. Okay. It's dangerous for these kind of comments to be in existence and in people's, process of thought, because it puts everybody in the same group, in the same, oh, you like this, you only like this, and this type of person. When in reality, alpha is not just that. Okay. And so I had to clear that up.
Exactly. No, alpha needs to be defined, but the point is that, like, the point is that every woman may not want the nerd. Like, if you're a nerd, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. There was tons of nerds in my high school. If there's tons of football players in my high school, there's tons of different kinds of men. But like I'm saying, black women get shamed if they happen to like not like the guy that likes anime. So if she don't want a guy that likes anime, then she don't like the guy that likes anime. There's nothing wrong with anime. I like anime, but there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not like she's a bad person. If she happens to want the guy that has the biggest muscles, yeah, lots of girls do like men with muscles. That's pretty standard for women to like. Not every woman's going to gravitate to the quiet guy that sits over there and reads comic books. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot of black women who are nerds, and they're the best. I'm like anime, talking about video games and stuff. Like, there's even a woman on his show who was a gamer and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, it's just subjective. But I think when you associate the term like nerd with like with corny or it basically is a pushover, which that can be anybody. You can be a pushover and corny, not be a nerd. There's a lot of nerds who can kick some ass.
I had an ex that had muscles, and he was the biggest pushover I ever had. And I hooked up with him. As soon as I saw that, that was it. I mean, 3 girls got in our face one night when we went out somewhere, and it was like a stupid altercation, and we got over it. But like, the altercation was dumb, but his punkish reaction, all the muscles and that punkish reaction was like such a turn off. I was like, oh no, you spend 7 days a week in the gym to punk up to 3 chicks that walk over to us. Are you serious? Boy, I would have smacked. I would have smacked all of them, okay? But it de-escalated, but it was his punkish reaction for him to be like 6 feet tall, all the muscles, beard, the whole alpha so-called look, and for his punkish, punk behind to act like that. That was it for me.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So,
yeah.
Miss Lily, what were you expecting me to do? Knock them out?
Hold on 1 second, Zach. Hold on 1 second, Zach. Shrooms, go ahead, Zach. You can go after Shrooms.
Hey, I just wanted to make a quick comment about the nerd situation. Like, no woman is going to turn a guy down who has a six pack, who has a nice body, who happens to like anime and read a lot of books. It's not about what the nerd does, is what he doesn't do. So the stereotype, anyway, right? The nerd doesn't work out. So his body may be skinny and lanky. So no one's going to be interested in that. She might be interested in a guy who works out. So it's about what the nerd doesn't do.
Absolutely,
But,
absolutely. I think that's a great point, Shrooms.
As far as the other conversation, you were having before, and Lauren knows that in the Black women spaces, we talk about us being a reformed, I don't know if I want to say the word, but about many of us, we are reformed M words, right? And so many times when the Black women empowerment videos are out, we're trying to pull in and recruit women that we feel might not be doing the right thing for the Black community, and for them to do things differently so that we can be better as Black women. So most of us are reformed. So I don't like if someone is trying to hold something against you because you're reformed, whatever it is that you were, right? We were all in a dark space before, and we crossed over the rainbow, so to speak. So no one should be holding that against you, especially when you came clean about that a long time ago.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that.
Can I say something?
1 second, Alexander. I want to let a couple of the new people who just joined say something. Then we'll come back to you, Alexander. We'll try and come back to you. Zach, I know you want to speak really quickly. Let me let the ladies go first, just in as a standard. Toya, and go ahead, Toya. The floor is yours. Then Loving Homes, and then Zach after Loving Homes. Go ahead, Toya.
Oh wait, hold on.
Are you fine? Okay, Toya. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to come up before when the other dude was on there. I don't know if he was still on there, but I wanted to make a statement. I was once a single mother before I had gotten married to my other children's father, and my oldest son, he is now in the top STEM program in Baltimore City. So you can't sit there and say that single mothers are terrible for the community, because my son is right now on the right path to be going to some of the top schools in the city once he's finished middle school, and maybe some of the top universities in this country. So don't sit there and say that. And my family has educators, okay, who was raised by single mothers as well. So don't sit there and say that we ain't about nothing when we are about something. Okay, it's just that we adapt.
Absolutely.
And trust me, I'm dealing with open custody with my child's father. He's not even trying to see his son. But you know what though? I'll let my son handle that when he gets older, because that's not my business. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Absolutely, Toya. So well done. So well done. That's absolutely incredible, and I love to hear that. Congratulations, but really well done, Toya. You are the definition of the best of us, quite literally. That is awesome, man. I love to hear that. Loving Homes, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
Okay, I just want to make sure. It was acting up earlier. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and say that a lot of guys think because I saw this recently in the Red Pill saying how Lori Harvey got played by Future. They saying Future's the one that played her. And I said, not necessarily, because at the end of the day, Lori had played him because he thought he was gonna have a chance to knock her up, but she left without giving him a baby. And now he wants to make a scene, all trying to be all well known and all this, and trying to make a scene that she left him and telling Steve Harvey that, oh, I don't want to tell her that, I don't want to. And I'm just like, y'all call this an alpha, y'all call this a man when he's not even there for his own son. And Russell has to step in and be that father that Future needed to be to his son. And I'm just like, it's a shame what this mentality is in the Black community. And it's just so disgraceful and so sad. And people think that Black women has to respect a type of Black man like that. I don't think so. I'm like, it's very, just so very disrespectful and so sad. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that.
I love your accent, Loving Holmes. That is an authentic Southern belle right there. I love that. Well, thank you so much for that comment. It's a great point you brought up.
What part of the South did you come from? Pardon me.
No. The part I came from, I'm from Florida.
Florida.
So
Wow. I wouldn't guess Florida. I love it. Thank you so much, Loving Holmes. That's a great comment there. And yeah, maybe, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. The women who do get into the game and they evolve and they move and they maneuver, right? They figured it out. And Organic Black said something. He said that he tried to ruin her. Future tried to ruin her, right? But of course, if a woman gets into the game and does that, then it's only negative. She's only promiscuous. And then, of course, she's damaged goods, right? She's damaged goods. Damned if you do, you damned if you don't. But the women are learning. Zach, stay focused. I see you have two profiles here, so I'm going to kick the one that's currently on live. It looks like you're having some technical problems. I appreciate your patience, Zach. Connect your devices if you can. Connect your devices, Zach, and then I'll have you have the floor. I know you've been waiting for a while. I see you in the background. I'm going to take you down again, Zach. Rejoin one more time. I'll put the link up for you. I know you've been wanting to talk, and I want to make sure everybody gets the chance to talk. Link again if you need to, Zach. It's like a lot of people have been having trouble connecting with this one, but yeah, I've caught feelings, huh? No, I just like that. Kier, have you spoken yet, Kier? I haven't seen you. My apologies. Kier, the floor is yours. Kier? You're on mute if you don't know. Okay, Kiera's probably just chilling right now. Kiera's just chilling. Kiera comes on the panels, and then most of the time she doesn't say anything. I think that's always hilarious. She's like, I didn't want to say anything. And then she'll go back on mute. Go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say, Senpai had asked me, did I expect my ex to beat up the girls or do anything? No, nobody wants to. I'm not the type of girl that puts my man and I want him to fight and get into a bar fight and then he gets arrested. I'm not that. I de-escalate. I'm not about that life of fighting in the restaurant, all that extra stuff. That's not me at all. But I just expect him to start shaking and crying and start like actually turning to like it's like he melted before my eyes. And I was just like, what is wrong with you? Are you that scared? Are you serious? You live in the gym. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, but don't you think it's kind of ridiculous that you left him just for that? You didn't see any positive qualities of him? You don't think that's ridiculous?
No, he threw me under the bus. He actually joined their side. He was like, I thought that she was a nice person. I don't even remember what the whole thing was about. But it's just like he totally just melted like a snowball in heat. Just to see it just like melt. Like I'm just like, what is wrong with you? There are 3 girls, calm down. Why are you like
that is hilarious, Loren. That is hilarious.
It was the most unattractive thing I have ever seen before in my life. And I was like, if you could do that with some chicks, I can only imagine if it was actually a serious situation. Right. And it was like something else. Like it's the matter of women want to be protected. Why am I with you? Why am I with you? Like, what's the point? No, Senpai, no woman would ever stay. No woman. I would have been an idiot to stay in something like that. Are you kidding me?
And really quickly, I'm glad you said that, Loren. Senpai, we'll come back to you in a second. Zach stays focused. Zach, the floor is yours. I know you've been waiting for a while. Unmute yourself, Zach. Zach is having some serious problems tonight. Okay, Zach, we gave you the shot, bro. I didn't kick you off. I guess you're just dropping off. Yes, Stampitis, I understand that, man. I mean, you got to back up your girl, man. When it comes down to it, anybody's gonna want their significant other to back them up, bro. I mean, that's gonna hurt if you get out into some public skirmish and your other side is your significant other is taking the other side. That's gonna be like, wait, what? Well, why do I need you if you're gonna be on the enemy's team? I'd rather be by myself, you know. So you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Stampitis, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to kind of disagree on that one, man.
No, he turned into a little girl. He turned into I don't know. Like I just saw a tail grow and go between his legs, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, that nothing disgusts a woman quicker than something like that, man. You know, you know that kind of goes down to making yourself the best man that you can be, and understanding if you want traditionalism, if you want your women to follow you, and you want to be a protector and a leader, then you better be ready to put that work in when the time comes. You don't get to just be the leader and have it easy all the time. You know, if some guy tries to test your woman, I don't care if you can't fight. Throw a punch and get knocked out, but at least try, because the dishonor of not going out and at least trying to protect your woman as the leader, that's going to stay with you for life. She's going to remember that for life, and that'll always be at the back of her head. That's just human nature. There's nothing that we can do to get away from that. That's just human nature. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the end of the stream. I'm going to go ahead and conclude the stream today. It's a shorter one, but I said it was going to be shorter, and I'm sticking to it today. 2 hours by any stretch of the imagination. It's longer than 90% of YouTubers who live stream. And I didn't prepare as much for this live stream as I usually do, but getting back to our original programming, next live stream, I will prepare vehemently. I'm overusing that word. I don't think that's the right word. Scrupulously? Is that the right word? And the subject matter, I can't give away too much of it, is once again groundbreaking, revolutionary discoveries that I'm starting to pick up on. We're digging deeper into the rabbit hole. There's no end to the rabbit hole at this point. It's endless, and it continues to just get more and more mind-numbing. I can't wait for you all to see it. It's going to take about 2 more days, I want to say, until I come back to finish everything that I will finish, but it will be a long live stream. It will be a long live stream. You're not going to miss it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to give the final words like I usually do. I'm going to bid everyone a good night, adieu and au revoir. So I'm going to take everybody off one by one. I hate to do that. It feels so anti-personal, but you guys know. You guys know I love you. Hey, Stampitis, that includes you too, bro. You guys know I love you. I really do. Stampitis is a good sport. Siamese Cat, excellent input tonight. Alexander Brandon, it's always good to have you in the studio, man. We'll do the final words next live stream because there's going to be a lot more to chew on. Jedi Mike, the official. Jedi Mike's YouTube channel coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. It is coming soon. Kiera, the silent one. All the donators tonight, I thank you so much. Tonight was a little bit tougher of a stream for me because, you know, I was thinking a lot about it, and it meant a lot to me. You know, everything that I was saying tonight. I don't want to say it could make me or break me, but I just felt more for this live stream, and so I just didn't want to do as much research. I'm completely honest. I didn't read from a script. Everything that I said is just from the heart. You know, I'm not perfect. I've done things in the past that aren't perfect. I've said things in the past that aren't perfect, but I'm trying to be the best person I can now. You know, so I'm sure somebody else in the future is going to find something. Oh, THT said this. He didn't just say heifers. He said something else. Maybe it is out there. I don't know. You know, all I can do is the best and work on myself the most and be the best person that I can be. And that's what I'm going to focus on doing. I can't thank you all enough for still supporting. We're getting deeper. We're getting bigger. We're growing. And this message is going to continue to spread. And I'm honored to be able to partake on this embarkment with y'all. With that being said, this will conclude this episode of Truth Seekers Live. I'm glad that you enjoyed. I see the reviews. Great live. Good night. Bye, panel. Good night. It is an honor to have you all here with us. Shui says the show gets better and better. I didn't think this was that good of a show, to be honest with you, but I'm so glad that y'all think that. The Only Chocolate Angel. What a unique name, man. You will prepare meticulously. I love that. There we go. That's what I was trying to say there. That's what happens when I don't prepare. I end up using a little bit more of my brain power than usual. And I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. I'm not. I'm decent. Good night to Kiki. Good night to Taylor. Good night, Honey. Organic Black with the panda bear emojis. We love panda bears. The cutest animals, right? 504 Empress says, keep up the good work. Good night, Laura. Good night, Nia. Good night, Expectancy. Good night, Libra. Once again, thank you all so much. I really do love and appreciate you all. Emails in the about section. UniqueBoutiqueCandles.com is what this channel is sponsored by. Be safe. Don't get stressed out over these men, ladies and gentlemen. Continue to live your life. Until next time, keep the faith.